Hello, hello. Good evening. How y'all doing? I hope you're good. I hope you can hear me. Just fine. February is pink month. Ooh. An entire month just for me? You shouldn't have. Oh, thank you for the pet. It's changed your password day apparently. Oh, it is? Oh, ow. Okay, so I just want to tell you guys, if you hear something make a suspiciously loud noise, like coming crashing down, could be my keyboard. Could be my keyboard, because the thing it's on does not hold on very well anymore, and it came crashing down 4 times while I've been waiting here and setting everything up already. So if it comes crashing down during stream, it might be really fucking loud. I'm very sorry in advance if that happens. But yeah, we are back to the old microphone, but this time it's actually at 100%, so it shouldn't be as, you know, bad as it was back then. I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to invest in a new microphone, only to find out that the entire fucking time I've been streaming, I just had the microphone at 50%. And I technically wouldn't have needed a new microphone at all, I guess, maybe. But here we are. As soon as I'm going to tab into the game, it's probably going to... It ain't better nor worse, to be honest. No, but that... Listen. It's different, yes. The bad part about it not being that much worse is just... I've had this one since I was a teenager. It's at least 8 years old, if not more. And I bought a new one just for it to not be much better or much worse. Like, okay, damn. Oh, whatever. There was enough microphone discourse lately on Twitter. I'm like, okay, damn. As long as you guys can hear me and it sounds fine, I'm happy. What are you doing? Also, has not happened in quite a long time, but I might be interrupted by a cat who's not sure if he wants to leave the room or stay here. Okay. Well, for now he's apparently staying. That's cool. We like that. As soon as I tap into the game, it's probably going to be extremely loud, because it's one of those games that, like, stops playing sound if you're not tapped in. And I tried to set it up earlier to see, okay, how loud is it going to be, but be warned. Pet him. I would have to get... Where's he go? Well, you go... Hold on. Okay. I will. Hold on. I will do it just for you. Just for you, I will attempt to pet him. Hello. 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 Okay. No. He just wanted someone to open the fucking door for him. The entire population of cat kind. Yeah, that I don't think that's going to work out. Your $25 Mac that you got when you were a teenager was bad. Mood. Like, as long as it works, I don't think you should change. Okay, hold on. Hold on to your seats. If it's really loud, I'm so sorry. That's not actually too bad. That's not even that loud. It's just loud on my headphones because I cannot regulate the sound on those the way I could at home. Yeah, it only takes the first word and puts it into the command. That's a problem. Thank you for the pet. All right. Okay, I'm going to very carefully touch the keyboard. Audio tech is surprisingly good for a long time. He was looking for presentation, still one. Highly recommended. Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, the one I'm using right now, it's a Fame microphone. I have no idea if I'm speaking the right... No, I think I'm speaking in the right direction of the microphone. Hold on. Should be. This part is... Yeah. should be the right part. But yeah, welcome to yet another mystery horror visual novel. That's good. Also, your boxes were $10. I mean, mood. Funny thing is, the boxes I have in my apartment are somewhere I can plug in my headphones and then regulate them, and it only works for the headphones, so it doesn't bother anything else. The ones I'm plugged into right now, I cannot regulate the sound right now, so I'm kind of suffering a little bit. It's gonna work out. It's gonna be fine. Also, thank you so much for the resub. 10 months. Ooh. And thank you for the January. Yeah, it's almost a year. That is fascinating. All right, what we're gonna do is I'm going to play this game in the OBS preview. So that's interesting. That's going to be very interesting. I've done this before. Beginning of last year, actually. Like, literally right after the whole, hi, okay, this is my first anniversary. We did that when I played Witch Spring Refine. But that was a Switch game, so it's fine. You can play that in the... I can just play that in my OBS preview. But I couldn't read some parts of the screen because my overlay at the time covered parts of the game. I was like, fuck, what does it say there? I can see it. So we're going to do exactly that, but for this funny little visual novel. I say little visual novel, but it's actually going to be quite long, I feel. It has a lot of bad endings, which we need to get some unlock keys to get to the true end of the story from what I've seen. So that's gonna be fun. Anyway, we're gonna... I hope sound's gonna be fine. Because it is voiced as well. You can individually change up people's how loud someone is, so I'm just gonna hope this is fine. You may have accidentally unplugged your headset. I feel that happened to me. Has happened to me before. Oh, the numpad enter key doesn't work. Okay, that is... I hate it when that happens in games. I'll have to use a normal enter key then. Whatever. Oh my god, you're louder than I expected you to be. Okay, hi, hello lady. You are way louder than I thought you would be. Do you mind? Where the fuck is my mouse? Wait, hold on. I can't fucking... Oh my god, yeah, yeah. Welcome to Scuff. We like Scuff in this house. Okay, what if I do... What if I do this? And then I tap out and all of the sound is going to be gone, because that's perfect. I love when games do that. And then just turn the entire game down a little bit. Yeah, okay, pressing in the OBS overlay is not gonna press in the game, obviously. I should know that. Okay. Oh yeah, that's the exact Twitter discourse I was talking about. Yeah, it's almost funny because so many people got involved, like people who actively do audio work for a living, and they're like, do not spend that much money on a hobby. Treat it like a hobby. If it ends up working out, that's nice, but treat it like a hobby. Do not spend thousands on a hobby. Like, unless you can spend thousands, but you know, you do not need to spend that much money. Okay, let's see. An interface character, alright. Alright, nice to meet you.
ここでは初めてプレイなさる皆様にこのゲームの遊び方を簡単にご説明いたしたいと存じます。
You should spend a few thousand before starting your first stream, otherwise it will go wrong. Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely, definitely. Like, go into debt for a hobby that may or may not work out for you. Like, oh man, what if streaming isn't actually for me, but I already spent like $500,000 on it? Well, sucks to be you. Obviously, everyone makes it big in their first 3 streams and immediately gets to partner. Duh.
いくつか変わったところのあるゲームですので、最初はぜひとも全部の説明をお読みいただきたいと思います。
Alright, sure. I mean, I love reading.
特に動画配信をなさる方は、
Oh no.
4
Oh no, no. Oh fuck, please don't tell me that. Please don't tell me I'm not allowed to share this game. If that's the case, I'm gonna scream.
最後まで読んでいただけたら、私のセクシーな画像が
Oh, we truly do live in a society. She has some very cute hair, yeah. Sell your kidney while at it. Yeah, you don't need your kidney.
さて、何からご説明いたしましょう。
Okay, yeah, I would like to read the rules then. Oh my god. About this game.
レイジングループはノベルアドベンチャーゲームというジャンルでございます。
Yes.
小説のように文章で物語が綴られ、読んで楽しむゲームです。
That makes sense.
世に言う人狼ゲームと深く関係する物語ではありますが、人狼ゲームそのものではないのでご注意を。
I'm vaguely familiar with the concept of werewolf, I think.
スーパー人工知能リカコ20人と永遠の人狼ゲームを楽しめるとご期待された方、すみません。ざめざめ。もちろんただの小説ではございません。時折
Yeah, okay, I mean, I know how visual. Okay, hold on. Yes.
せっかくの声をお楽しみ、とっても大ボリュームな物語ですので。
Obscenely lengthy.
なお、もうご存知か、サスペンス、もちろんこの
There's nothing to do with your people.
そして、
Yep.
そんな感じで現実との区別をしっかりおつけになったらもう大丈夫。
Can we all differentiate between reality and fiction? I sure hope we can. Okay, hold on. About the video sharing. Yeah, let me see.
レイジングループはノベルゲームですから。
Yep.
それらすべて
Oh, it would be very troubling if someone uploaded everything to the internet.
とい
Okay.
うわけで、
Ah.
ちなみにその範囲は具体的にはシナリオチャート上の4潜入の9入村方法はで
I mean, I'm not uploading if I'm live streaming, right?
相当な長さがござい、むしろ全文読み上げる派の配信主様。ちなみにこの後は動画配信終了のタイミングで、そこで収録はお開きとしていた。ちなみに今はオフの状態ですよ。
I mean, sure, yeah. Show me that when we actually get there.
また切り替えたいときは
Okay.
ゼロ導入のここに来てくださいね。
La 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 la. I can't read.
とても長くなってしまいました。
Yeah, I'm sorry, girly.
ここまでお読みいただき誠にありがとう存じます。
God damn it. No, but I saw people play this game on
いよいよ
stream.
物語の始まりです。限りなく濃い霧と血煙の向こう、繰り返される絶望と悲嘆の果て。
Yeah, right? Like, I looked at the forums, I was like, oh, finally. We can do this one. We can do this one. There doesn't seem to be anything whoopsie that I'm not allowed to show. But I was wrong. Clearly, I was wrong.
人狼村の真実をどうかその目でご覧くださいませ。
Werewolf Village.
ペコリ
ペコリ。ペコリ。Sunday. I'm not sure if that is May or November. I'm going to assume it's November. It's the 5th of November. closed in on the side of the road and killed the engine. It was steeper than I thought. My bike was on the verge of giving out, so I pushed down and deployed the kickstand. Ooh. Oh, I'm lost. Maybe taking a ride down an unknown road with no sat-nav on me wasn't such a good idea. I just followed the road, so I'd figured I wouldn't get lost, but now I was in some deep shit. No, cool it. This isn't a big deal. I sighed, took note of the fact that I'd gotten lost in my pocket journal, and then pulled out a map. Oh, wait, 1 second. Does escape work? No, escape does not give me anything. How do I get to the menu? Can I get to the menu with just my keys? No? Okay. Suddenly a rush of memories fitted into my mind. Ooh. Oh, I see. Alright. So, see, this is what I meant. This is what I read about before. It's like, oh, you need this unlock key to get something else, apparently. But we do not have any keys yet, so let's choose this one. I somehow kept myself from remembering those things. After all, I got on this trip to forget. Oh. Lost but hot.
人生はシンプル。つまりこの道のごとく、真っ暗で道案内もなく、進むか返すか。考えることはそれだけ。
Okay. Going back wasn't an option in this case, so I just moved forward. Still, I wanted to know where I was at least, so I looked down at my map. It was all Greek to me. Last time I'd seen a sign, it was still light out, meaning that I'd gotten lost after the sun had set. Sure, it was my own fault for just guessing which intersections I'd been passing through and that it'd take me 2 hours to conclude I was lost. Crazy to think that just 2 hours of aimless driving got me almost completely surrounded by mountains. They extended as far as the eye could see. If you flipped the scenery upside down and shook it, it's unlikely even a shred of civilization would tumble out. Besides the asphalt below, my sweet right, and the lamppost above, the first one in a while, mind you, there was nothing man-made here. The pocket map I had wasn't detailed enough for me to figure out where I was. Ooh. At least he's driving safely with a little helmet and everything. Road safety, very important. I go as far as I could. Worst comes to worst, I could just camp at the side of the road. Oh, don't do that. In the, like, I'm sorry, mountain roads? I wouldn't do that. No. 2 hours later, I deeply regretted ever thinking that. Basically, camping wasn't an option. This mountain road had no site to camp on. A dump truck I'd passed barely even fit on it. I'd also had my first close encounters with wild forest animals. I'd already seen 2 boars in 3D in those 2 hours alone. See? Don't sleep outside in general? Very true, but also... One of the deer had run parallel to my back while intently staring at me, and I had no idea what to think of that. It felt like it could smell my fear and did it to just make it worse. How dare the thing do that to a human? We're the kings of this planet, damn it. I'd have to remember to eat some venison once I came back to civilization. Bro, really? Hey, this deer wanted to square up with me. Bruh. Anyway, camping out here was a bad idea. I'd end up as either roadkill or animal food. And yet I didn't back out. Why? Because I'm a pretty warped sort of guy, and I won't pretend otherwise. Aha, clearly, you're different. You're weirder. You don't fit in. That was actually the reason why my mom's comfortable relationship had gone alright. I haven't learned how to pronounce that yet. And why I'd gone on this stupid trip. Oh, you broke up? Got broken up with? Still, despite acknowledging that, I choose to keep moving forward. It wasn't like I'd find a place to stay if I went back. I was actually starting to think that this experience might make a good conversation piece sometime down the road. It was really getting late at this point. Where would these roads take me anyway? Alright. Okay, alright. It would probably be disappointing. Soon enough, the road became flat. I was out of the mountain pass. The forest remained abundant though, so I still didn't see much. Even so, the streetlights and signs were enough to make me feel like I was again nearing civilization. Was streetlights the right expression for lights in a forest? I have to look that up. As the road grew less rugged, I realized just how exhausted I was. All this bike handling had left my hands really sore too. I really had to rest. Suddenly I saw something unexpected. Powerful, colorful artificial lights. A convenience store. Hey, fresh maki! What? Oh, industrial smokes. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was next to an intersection between the road I was on and another even thinner road that could probably support only a single car. A sea of trees ended, giving room for the majestic child of our consumerist society. Yeah, that was an exaggeration. Apparently even a damn store was a big deal for someone who just stepped out of the wild. It was called Fresh Market. I'd seen several of them a few times during the day. It was probably a local franchise. The building didn't look all that old, at least the parking lot looked a lot smoother compared to the roads. This was a pretty weird place to build something like that, though. Was I close to a settlement, or did they actually make a profit off of lost travelers? I just asked that or something. A local shopkeeper was bound to know what was around these parts, not to mention I was thirsty. Thirsty! Oh! Write text on a very bright background, okay. I was welcomed by a weird chime sound. It looked like a normal convenience store. There were goods on the shelves, a counter on the left, and... a shopkeeper! The worker at the counter was so mean-looking it was scary. She was so imposing I wouldn't have doubted if someone told me she was in charge of some ladies' army corps. Hey. Was it supposed to be a grading? I was so damn cold it actually gave me chills. Was this store shadier than it appeared? Was I about to be stupidly overcharged? Was this place made a profit by taking advantage of lost people and basically beating them out of their money? Hi, weird. Shit, that was scary. Clearly the wonderland had only just begun. Woo! I sure was excited for the beating. I grew more nervous and less enthusiastic by the second. I braced myself, but she just looked down at the magazine in her hands. Oh, so she was just a slacker. Slightly disappointed, I walked around the store. It was about what you'd expect. There was a small shelf with energy drinks, followed by some stationeries, travel goods, sanitary stuff, etc. There were sweets that came with toys, a shelf of cup ramen and dried food, a fridge, a freezer. It all looked normal. I'm good, how about you? It was late, so the daily dish and packed lunch section was completely empty. The only special thing about the space was a section full of unpacked vegetables you'd expect to see at the greengrocers. I mean, if it's in the middle of nowhere, maybe the locals like sell their stuff. You had a nice dinner, you're just chilling? Nice, me too. Had a nice dinner and I'm chilling with my ultra scuff setup, but it's working. Maybe all rural convenience stores were like this. I was slightly surprised by that, but there weren't any local fine foods or anything, so all in all, it was an unremarkable store. If you ignored the clerk, anyway. Yes, because I'm at my parents' place, it's like... At least it's working out. I took a drink and brought it to the register. Yep, she really was the highlight of this place. What kind of clerk smokes while dealing with a customer? Ooh. Oh my god, you're allowed to smoke inside? Right, I guess. But I don't think you would usually be allowed to smoke inside of a convenience store, not even in Japan. Why wouldn't I be buying? Yes, I was actually buying. She was the clerk and I'd be her god, the customer.
126 yen.
She didn't even scan it! This exchange was at the mercy of the clerk. God is dead! Maybe I had to get mad at her.
ちょっといいですか?
He reminds me of someone.
Huh?
実は道に迷ってしまって。
Quickly turned me.
町はどっちにあるでしょうか?
あっち。
いや、できれば地図とか。
ない。
And this woman.
いや、そんなはずはないでしょ? コンビニなんて大体道聞かれるから。
I don't think you would want to argue with her. Like, clearly she does not want you here.
知らねえよ。ないもんはね。おとなしく来た道。
She clearly does not want us here.
もう数時間迷ってるもんで、これ以上はちょっと。
その辺の床で寝てけば。
Oh. She had to be joking.
いや、お気持ちだけでいいんで、道だけちゃんと教えていただけたら。
ああ、もう、せえな。合ってる。
The clerk put out a smoke in the ashtray and went to the staff-only area. She came back in no time.
あったわ。
Ooh, she does have eyes. So she did have a map. Of course she did. Even more ill-tempered than usual, the clerk started giving an explanation.
これがこの店。で、十字路を北へ行け。しばらくしたら立教があっから渡れ。 最初の分岐のとこに大岩があっから、そこを右折して、あとは直線。
Oh, I have made a mistake. Oh no, I have made a mistake. 1 second. Nope, no, that's not gonna work.
この道？
んだよ。
なんだよ。
い
なんだよ。
や、この先何もなくないです？
書かれてねえだけで集落があんだよ。
Oh yeah, that's very reassuring.
そこ以外なら？
富士吉村まで行くには峠道を2時間。
なんだよ。
こっちなら30分で着く。
This is bread. This is a cat. Why are you back? I thought you wanted to leave. I opened the door for you. No? No? No leaving. Fujiyoshi seemed to be a village. It didn't look too far away, but the road leading to it was a huge branching mess. It was clearly just a paved mountain pass. I'd had enough of those for one day. I'd probably just get lost again.
じゃあ、こっち行ってみます。
Yes,
ありがとうござい
sir.
ます。
There is and is this cat in the room with us right now? It is. Oh my god, he's now sitting on my freshly washed clothes because clearly that is exactly where you should be, isn't it? I do not know. Like, I think the reason he doesn't react as he would usually do is because clearly he does not speak English. And I was like, why are you speaking to me in a language I don't know? Why is he No, it's because I turned up the heating in this room, which is not usually up anymore. So now it's like, oh, it is warm and cozy.
金。
はい。
You want me to pay for the map?
払ってねえだろ。茶のやつ。
Oh, no, I just didn't pay for the tea yet. Okay, that's fair. That is fair. What's not as fair is that I can't even fucking... Okay, never mind. Now I can. There we go.
ああ、じゃあ500円。
It's a village full of sleepy nap people that like to be in bed. That's why it's not in the map. No, I think it's going to be a village full of people that want me dead for some reason. My guy, I cannot concentrate on the stream like this. You're too cute. You're too cute. You can't do that to me. Ding, Russell Jingle.
なぜお釣りを無断で募金箱に入れるんですか？
小銭多いとうぜえだろ。
Wow. Alright, thank you. Thank you for the pat and the non-binary. Also, thank you for the pat for the cat. Yes. Look at that. I'm giving you pats from the chat. Yeah. That was a hell of a line. I casually thanked her, grabbed the plastic bottle of tea, she did give me a bag by the way, and left the store. I mean, those bags are plastic anyway. You should bring your own bag when you go grocery shopping. Plastic bags are bad. In Germany, they actually make you pay extra if you want plastic bags. I drank the tea in the parking lot and looked up at the moon, obscured by the clouds, but still bright enough to outshine the light of the convenience store. Always bring a cloth bag with you. Exactly. I counted the ones I have. And I have at least 13 just from my like local bookstore. It's so funny because I enter the bookstore with the cloth bag, and then they give me another cloth bag. I'm like, clearly I already have one, but okay, sure, thank you. Yes, 13. You know, with only half an hour of game progress because cat. Oh no, that would never happen, right? Here's another pet for you. Yeah. It's Krümel, by the way. Krümel. The clerk put me in a bad mood though, so I didn't enjoy the sight. I threw the bottle into a nearby trash can and aggressively drove away. A free callback songs, yeah! Following the directions, I crossed the overpass and arrived at the first fork in the road. The byway she told me about was really narrow. I probably wouldn't have noticed it were it not for the tall boulders standing there like a roadside shrine for some traveler deity. You have to pay extra here to get close enough, so just take a rucksack and try to go. That's also good, yeah. I mean, I usually plan if I want to buy a lot of stuff. So everything that wouldn't fit in the bag, I just can't buy. It's that easy because I absolutely am not going to pay a horrendous amounts of money for an extra bag. I have enough. Turning carefully, I got on the road. A minute later, I found myself in an even worse wilderness than ever before. A reel of dead leaves covered the ground, tall grass sided the path, and the sky above was blocked by overgrown shrubs, making it feel like I was passing a wooden tunnel. The road itself was a huge red flag. It was a wonder why I didn't just turn around. Because clearly you're this game's main character and now you have to suffer. The exchange from before might have pissed me off more than I thought. A foldable bag. Oh yeah! I have 2 of those as well. I have 2 of those. But they're not that big. And the cloth bag fits more. Still, I really didn't expect the road to just end. It happened about 15 minutes in. The view ahead suddenly turned strangely dark, and a split second later the bike tipped forward. I reflexively hit the brakes, but it was too late. I started going down a cliff. My bike tilted downwards, and its suspension was put to the greatest test yet as we basically tumbled down to the bottom. The headlights suddenly shone in some dirt and grass. I knew then that I'd be flung out of my seat. Oh god. Stifling a scream, I tried to work some steering and brake magic to slow down without collapsing, but that was too big a task for a simple road bike. At the bottom of the cliff, it jumped higher than ever before. The suspension couldn't handle the impact, and I was launched into the air. A moment later, I heard a crash and felt an impact, after which came an unpleasant pain. Ooh. An accident where I was flung out like that was a first for me. The launch was really something too. I did a 360 in the air and fell on my back. My breathing stopped for a moment, and the pain was so bad I thought all my bones shattered. My face and limbs seemed pretty fine at least, though I wasn't sure if that counted as a silver lining. There was grass under my hands. I felt it even through the gloves. That and the smell of green made it pretty clear what I landed on. What a ditzy clerk, she accidentally gave you the wrong directions, teehee! Thank you for the pasta check. And the hider time. Oopsie! I pushed down and my hand sunk. This grass growth was pretty hefty. It was probably the reason why I came out relatively okay. Sure, my joints creaked when I stood up, but aside from that, I was fine. It was really dark, so I couldn't really confirm it, but I was pretty sure I wasn't even bleeding. My bike, however, wasn't nearly as lucky. It was lying on its side a short distance ahead. The engine was still on, the back wheel kept on turning, making an unpleasant fricative noise. I'm sorry, what now? Yep, it was busted. I walked up, killed the engine, and took the key. With the headlights off, I was surrounded by absolute darkness, so I just stood and waited until my eyes adjusted. Still couldn't see very clearly, but it looked like this actually wasn't a cliff. I was still on a road, it just wasn't paved beyond this point. Obviously, a road bike stood no chance against an unpaved road. The woman actually tried to kill me. No, I mean, she clearly gave you direction. Zigzagging through the trees, I followed the narrow footpath deep into the forest. I tried getting my bike up and running again, but instantly gave up. It was partially stuck in mud, so there was the risk of it slipping and getting me into another accident. Maybe I had to turn around. The moment I considered that, I thought I saw a faint light ahead. If that woman wasn't lying, this road led to a settlement. Was I close? I reached into my jacket's pocket, took out my phone, and opened it up. You clearly do have a phone! You're not going to get any reception out here, probably, but why didn't you use that phone like 4 hours ago when you first realized, oh, I think I'm lost. Maybe I should look up where I'm going. As you'd expect, I was out of range. I ran a light up and shone a light to see better. Though weak, it was better than nothing. At the very least, it helped me watch where I was going. I had no idea how long I'd been walking for, but sure enough, I could see a light beyond the shrubs. It was weaker than expected. A flashlight, perhaps. I could hear water too. It might have been near a river. I raised my voice.
すいません。誰かいませんか？
Still declaring my presence, I walked forward. It was late at night. Were I to bump into someone here, the scare would probably take away a few years of our lives. That was why I figured it was best for us both to let the other know we were here before that happened. However, there was no response. I did not hear me over the rapids. I mean, I can barely hear you because that is a loud-ass fucking river.
すいません。
I showed my light ahead and realized I'd made it to an opening. Sure enough, there was a river, or a stream rather. I could see slightly more than I had while surrounded by trees. Straining my eyes, I saw a rocky river beach and the shallows. The light I'd seen was on the other side. From what I could tell, there was either a lantern or flashlight, and it was close to the ground. I didn't see any people though. No one responded to my shouting either. I wasn't excited about it, but I decided to step into the water. Ha! There's a stream in the stream! The cold water quickly soaked my shoes and socks. I could have taken them off, but I figured that crossing a river barefooted at midnight was a bad idea. But man, was it cold! I put my phone back into my jacket. I needed both my hands free in case I fell. No stopping or backing down, I walked toward the light. It suddenly became deeper. The water reached my knees now. That was too close for comfort. Feeling the bottom with my toes and balancing myself, I somehow avoided losing my footing. The floor was fiercer than I had expected. If I slipped and fell, I'd probably be washed away. It suddenly hit me I was doing something really weird, but it was too late to back down. Putting my hands on the boulders and carefully checking what I was stepping on, I gradually made it to the other side. Oh my god. Whoever made the background noise for the river was like, okay, we'll make it this long and not loop it properly. Great. Then with an unpleasant wet sound in my every step, I walked up to the light. I could already see it clearly. Yep, there was a flashlight lying on the ground for some reason. There wasn't much space here. It was a narrow riverbank with a cliff right beside it. As you'd expect, I didn't see or sense anyone nearby. What the hell? Though old, the flashlight was working fine. The strength of the light told me the battery was pretty full. That meant that someone was actually using this tonight, or rather, until just a few moments ago. That was the most logical conclusion. It obviously wasn't left here yesterday afternoon or evening. And yet, the user was nowhere in sight, and I was near a river. Did something bad happen? Did the flashlight's owner step into the stream and get swept away? That was the most likely and worst possible scenario. However, the flashlight was left there practically buried in the pebbles. It didn't seem like someone placed it there to light things up. It was the dead of night. There was no way you would notice dropping your flashlight when it was so dark. Right, the fact that a light source was left in a place like this was strange by itself. Did I consider what was going on here? What if someone heard my stupid shouting and decided to lure me in with a light so they could ambush me? Where would they attack from? Above?
こんばんは。
I heard a voice the moment I looked up. The rock cliff was actually made up of several boulders. There was a face peeking from behind one of them.
こんばんは。
あー、人だ。びっくりした。
That was my line.
悪いんだけど、それ取ってもらえます？
The voice was feminine. I finally realized what was going on.
落としたってわけですか？
I mean, maybe someone's bathing right now. I picked up the flashlight and pointed it at the source of voice. Oh, high-pitched voice, slender hand shielding the light. Sure enough, there was a young woman.
眩しいな。
お、失礼。ちなみに、こっちはこういうものです
Why is
が。
the water so fucking loud?
怖いです。下から照らさない。
実は、当方道に迷っており。
I can't fucking hear him.
だとすると、割と究極的に迷ってますよ。
Yep, thought as much.
ここって人里です。
難しい質問だな。
とりあえず助けてもらえない
Can
か
we,
と。
like, not do this while he's still standing in the middle of the river, soaked through?
助ける？
雨露しのげて野生動物がいなければ何でもいいんで。
The guy only had one joke, he didn't want to be afloat. He was like, I'm gonna make this the best fucking water ever. Standing on a boulder, the young woman made a pensive face.
じゃあ、うち来ます？
And that was the conclusion she'd arrived at. Face told me she was 100% serious. Place, my place. By that she surely meant a house, a
いい
settlement.
んです。頼んどいてなんですが、遠慮を忘れてすがりたい程度には切羽詰まってるんですが。
I'm sorry, what?
男として？
ええ、いや違う。一個の生命として。数時間迷った
What the fuck is wrong with this
バイクで
guy?
こけて
I was gonna have to use the bathroom when I listened to it. Oh no! I went out of this river.
あらら。なら見捨てるのもどうよって感じじゃないです？一個の生命として。
And so I was saved. Oh, the beauty of living beings looking out for each other. I like that you're both saying living beings and not human.
じゃあ手いいですよ。
But I'm not comfortable with the implication here that one of you or both of you are not human.
ここ一人じゃ登れないでしょ。
True. Honestly, I didn't even realize I'd have to. Meeting another person filled me with relief, which was followed by a sudden wave of fatigue. It wasn't crippling, though. She extended her left hand, so I grabbed her with my own left. The slender fingers were stronger than expected. The girl's name was Chiemi Serizawa. I asked if she was related to the Shinsengumi guy, but she said that her family just adopted the name at some point in the Meiji period. Aww. Sad. I haven't played anything that had the Shinsengumi in it in a long time. I was a fellow living being. Clearly, how you would greet another living being. Totally normal. She was a 21-year-old who went to a college far away from here. This was her hometown. She was spending her post-exams vacation here. And her eyes, for some reason, took longer to go away from her sprite just now. That was weird. We chatted about stuff like that once she led me out of the rocky ravine. There was actually a proper path, so the rock climbing was pretty pointless, but I was too focused on my footing to comment. She told me about herself as soon as we reached solid ground.
ちなみにそちらは？
名前は房石春明。東京で大学院生やってます。
あ、じゃあちょっと年上。
24だから、芹沢さんと3つ違いかな。
Hey, we're the same age.
でもまあ、同世代でしょ。
ちえみでいいですよ。敬語とかもいらないです。
じゃあ僕も、呼び捨てタメ口がいいな。
Nice.
ですか？
I mean, yeah, I would say 21 and 24 is definitely in the same age range.
女の子に親しくされてるみたいで。
Don't start flirting with her.
なるほど。実は私も堅苦しいの苦手なんで。
Yeah, we're the same age, except we're 3 years apart, but we're the same age.
どうぞどうぞ。ちなみに、まだ結構遠い？
そうでもないかな。
Hang in there, sheep!
もう5分くらい頑張りましょい。
What a lovely girl. You could tell she was used to people.
ただ、足元に気をつけて、明かりだけ見て。
何かあるの？
この辺、石ころだらけで危ないんだ。
If you run into a woman in the middle of the night in the woods, make sure to start flirting immediately. And she abducts you and starts, I don't know, putting you in a cage and then making you eat a lot to fatten you up and maybe plans on roasting you over a big fire, then no worries, that's normal. You're part of a fairy tale now. The moment she said that, I stumbled on a rock too big to be called a pebble. A small boulder the size of a regular boulder.
あと、今夜はずいぶん暗いしね。
I couldn't even see the moon anymore. Nodding in agreement, I focused on following the light in her hand.
ちょっと待っててもらえます？着替えちゃうんで。
And so I did just that. Given this was a mountain settlement, I expected some old wooden house, but she actually lived in an apartment block. Chief, no! A large rock the size... No, I think it was actually... No, I think it was a small boulder the size of a regular boulder. They used the word boulder twice. That was the funny part. I think the tweet actually just recently had like an anniversary. It was too dark to get a good look at it. All I could see were the cheap-looking walls like you could expect from some old boarding house for students. Large boulder the size of a small boulder. Okay, I mixed them up, but it was boulder 2 times. Also, she lived on the 2nd floor in room 202. I heard some raindrops as we were climbing the rusty stairs, but now it was really pouring. Between that, the darkness, and a large tree right next to the building, it was nearly impossible to see what was going on outside. It felt like I was all alone in a world of nothing but the walls, the door, and the fluorescent lamp above my head. It made me feel somewhat helpless. I mean, your bike is out there, getting rained on. absolutely going to be unusable tomorrow. Just saying. I distracted myself from that by imagining her change. Eventually the door opened up.
お待たせ。上がって。
No, he can't see the moon anymore. He already said that he cannot see the moon anymore. All smiled, she showed herself, now wearing sports clothes. This was kinda exciting. What is wrong with you? I need this guy to die. Like I am feeling very motivated to collect all these bad endings. To find the hidden truth or something. I am much more motivated now. Yes. No, this is not a horror game. No, it's not. It is a horror mystery. Like for real. All smiled, she showed herself. No way, I already read that. Never mind, sorry.
なんにもないでしょ。
何にもないね。
でも冷蔵庫の中はほら。
素晴らしい。
Harm this dude for doing this.
飲みますか。
やったぜ。
Oh, we're getting drunk? Yeah, her place was really empty. It was just a small room with a low table in the middle, a fridge near the door, and a large duffel bag deeper in. There were 2 old-looking bookshelves too, but they were completely empty. I wasn't bothered one bit though. Any girl's room was a wonderland to me. Oh my god. Bitch, you look like this!
じゃあ大変だった。
No, clearly she's a minimalist.
地獄で出会った仏様に乾杯。
Kanpai. We opened up our cans, knocked them together, and downed them. Yeah, it was actually good. The pleasant bitterness and a refreshing combination made for a good combo.
美味しい。このためだけ
It'd
に。
be easier to put him in a duffel bag when he's drunk.
その若さでそれはないでしょう。
言い過ぎた。愛や将来にもまだ絶望してません。
ところが就活という影が迫る。
いややめて。せっかくのビールがまずくなる。
I mean, I like that they get along at least. She laughed and took a huge sip. It was pretty clear she could hold her drink. That aside, something really bothered me.
お誘いに乗っておいてなんだけど。
Yes.
何？
Her cheeks were already red. Maybe she didn't handle her liquor as well as I thought. She had a well-featured face, and I didn't think it was wrong to consider her beautiful. Sure, her clothes weren't the least bit sexy, but I could tell she had some makeup on.
僕は完全に正体不明の自称迷い人だよね。
そうね。
And yet you let me into your room, and now we're drinking, and you're acting like we've been buddies for 500 years?
君は年頃の女性。今は深夜。ワンルームの密室で男と二人っきり。その上アルコールまで入ってしまった。
おお。
身の危険を感じたりとかは？
She kept gulping a drink even as she formulated a response. The very fact that I could just watch her do that made this a pretty risky situation, and yet...
あんまりないかな。
それは。
芹沢知恵みクイズ。
Okay.
イエーイ
Yay!
問題。と気づいたら訂正
I suddenly don't feel sorry for him, apparently. I don't know. Getting dumped.
なぜでしょう。
Just before the game starts, so like, yay! Excuse me? What a fun girl! This only made me like her more, increasing her danger even further. Why the fuck is he like this? I don't like this guy.
質問 OK？
どうぞ。
僕のことがいい人っぽいという答えはなしでいいかな。
悪い人に見えるってわけじゃないけど、まあなしかな。
You look experienced with a woman. He's going to experience my wrath. That's what he's going to be experienced with. What the fuck? That unintentional compliment showed that she actually did see me as potential danger. Like, why would you? What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, oh, okay, some stranger out of the goodness of their heart actually invites me to their home to like be safe during the night. But clearly I'm going to keep repeatedly going, oh, are you not aware that you could be in danger? Because I could be a dangerous guy. I could, you know, do bad things to you. Like, what the fuck, my guy? Also, hi, Sagi. Thank you for the posture check. Maybe he is the dangerous guy. Maybe he is. I don't like him. Also, thank you for the pigtails. The real people who talk like this, I look forward to reading.
考えられる回答は大きく2つ。想定外だが何が起きても問題ない。もしくは想定通り。
I need her to stab him, like, actually, right now. I think that would be funny.
前者はいろいろ考えられるかな。例えば、ちえみちゃんが何かやけっぱちになっていて、どうにでもなれる。
How is this the beginning of the game?
あるいは十分な自衛手段がある。実は護身術の達人で、僕なんか軽く乗せるとかね。
論理的。
And horribly messy Muchi murder suicide. Oh, that would be fun. Yeah. Listen. I'm for everything involving knives and him dead at the end.
まあそうかな。一方で後者、つまりこの状況が君の想定通りって場合は、
例えば私がエロエロですとか。
I mean, her sprite is funny. Her sprite is really good. Oh, talk about not mincing words.
酔っ払ってきたな。さて、他には何があるでしょう。
Indeed, what other reason could a woman have to bring a stranger to her home? Clearly to kill you. It would surely be something non-standard like
僕の存在が君の利益になるで。
kill you.
例えば、
kill you.
工作。
kill you.
ここにいたと。
kill you.
僕が証言することで君が
murder you. Stuff you in the duffel bag. Get rid of your body by washing you down the river.
おー、ちゃっかり利用するわけだ。
kill you.
あるいは
Yeah!
ちえみちゃんが
Yes! Now you're getting
酔っ
it.
払わせてぶっ殺す。
Now you're getting it. You're getting there, my guy.
はあ、ヤマンバ。いいね。ブッシュブッシュ殺しちゃう。
What kind of sound effect was that?
ちなみに前提で出た2つのケースの他に。
Oh, yes. What else is there?
あれ抜けてた？
うん。私がとってもいい人で、
that's boring.
助けてあげたい一心だっていうケース。
Nah, come on. Was it time for me to be ashamed of my filthy mind? Yes! Yes! Yes!
いやでもそれで自分が襲われるかもって考えたら
God, why is he so focused on that? Jesus Christ.
わあ、襲うって言っちゃったよこの人。
一般論ね。
She stopped talking and turned red. It was so cute I thought she was actually doing it on purpose. Man, was she drunk. You do not turn red on purpose. That's not how it works. And we were just on our second cans.
じゃあこういうのは止めないともっとひどいことになる。
What is wrong with this guy? Who wrote this dude? Like, I'm sorry, time and time again, I will stumble across visual novel that obviously we just started. I'm not, like, we're gonna get through this. But time and time again, I will stumble across visual novel that people tell me, it's really good. It's really good, you should read it, it's a great story. And then they give you the most horrendous fucking main character you've ever fucking seen in a video game. Hello? The last time I literally stopped playing a game because I could not get into the main character, like, at all. Several years back, and I still haven't gone back to the series of visual novels because the main character was just so much of an asshole that I couldn't get through one full hour of the game. Because reading his thoughts and the way that guy was acting, I was like, oh my god. Like I couldn't be bothered with the backstory here because the guy was just so much of an asshole. And this dude. I just hope whatever the first bad ending is, whatever he ends up dying or, you know, is going to be satisfying. Like I'm here to see this dude die. That's what I'm going to be here for now.
ごめん。もうちょっと詳しく。
この辺りには怖い野生動物が出ます。このまま見捨てたらとても寝覚めの悪い思いをするかもしれません。それなら。
なるほど。リスクと善意を天秤にかけるってわけか。これは想定外。
想定外か。この人だいぶ悪い人なんじゃないかって気がしてきたな。
え、そう？
Yes!
だって善意を選択肢に入れる前に殺人鬼とかアリバイとかエロエロとかさ。
Not a piece of media where you're not supposed to root for the protagonist. I have no clue.
ヘロエロは君が言い出したんでしょうが。
No, you have been you're the one who was the entire time like, oh, you know, what if something happened? What if I did something to you? Clearly, you're the one who brought up the perf stuff.
そうだったっけ？で、答えは
Okay, at least we're all suffering through this together. Isn't that fun? They know it sends a player into a loop where they're raging about the main character 24/7.
え、これって単なるバカ話じゃないの？
No! She's going to get out a knife and stab you right now.
正解者には素敵なプレゼント。
See?
正解者はブッシュブッシュ殺し
I
ま
like her style. She's growing on me. Seriously? You're desperate, you need an alibi, you're thirsty perf, you'd feel guilty if you let me die. And the last one is locked. Well, we can choose whichever we want at this point, but I'm gonna say she's actually a nice person and she'd feel guilty if she let us die. Also that weird effect around the boxes.
ピンポーン。
Hey! Oh,
ま
cool.
あ実際この辺危ないしね。鹿にイノシシ。
Oh, did I accidentally activate the automatic thing?
鹿
Oh,
と
I
イノ
did.
シ
Oh,
シは
God.
実際見たけど。
Stop! Don't do that!
月の輪だけどね。あんまり多くはないけど、昔襲われた人もいたし、ちょっと外は危ない。
なんてワイルドな。
でも、本当にヤバい動物は。
We have werewolves here, by the way.
なんだろう。クマよりヤバい動物？
ヘビ、猿、カラス、クモ。
Huh? Were the venomous or something? I really doubted that. Those really didn't seem worse than bears.
あと、オオカミ。
日本にはオオカミはいないでしょう。
They are.
いるかもよ。こんな田舎には。
She smiled and drank out of the third can.
まあ、理由がどうあれ、まんまと美女宅に侵入を果たした春明さんは、自分がオオカミになっちゃうのかな？
やめとく。
紳士、もう一本あげちゃう。
I wasn't too sure, but I felt like she dodged the subject. Perhaps I wasn't being cautious enough. What does that even mean? Oh, that's a thing that happens a lot. In the ends, in otome games as well, like, makes me mad every single time I play an otome game. You have the most well-written guy you can date in the game, and it's all nice and well, and then, like, he comes over for the first time, he's like, don't ever be alone in a room with a guy. Don't even be alone in a room with me, because all men are wolves. And we can't hold back. I'm like, okay, here we go. No more dating you. Goodbye. Because clearly, we need that kind of mindset. Yes. Woo! Lovely. Like, I'm sorry. I am not... I guess I'm too much of a feminist for most of those games. Like... Nope. Nope. It's such a weird thing to say. It's like, okay, I trust you to be in a room alone with me. And the other guy is like, oh man, the wolves. Alright, goodbye. There's the door. Then again, I'd been wandering aimlessly for a long time by now. I had enough recklessness in me to enjoy sharing a drink with a cute, if shady, girl. But the only shady person here is you, motherfucker. Okay, no, it is not November. It is May. Americans. The last thing I remembered was our little "when was the last time you pissed yourself while sleeping" talk. I had to tell her about the time I got so drunk I wet my pants in the middle of the boarding out. Okay. She laughed so hard she started frothing at the mouth and passed out. I woke up with a splitting headache. Clearly you had more than just 3 cans. What the fuck? Oh man. Morning already. It's creepy, but the creepier thing is the writers have to believe that. Oh yeah. There was also a guy not so intentionally getting into a girl's room. She said she went, "It's fine, if you try anything funny, just break your jaw." Good for her! I support women's rights, I also support women's wrongs, but she would have been in the right. Light poured in through the frosted window. I pulled out my phone and checked the time. 7 in the morning. I'd gone to sleep somewhere between 2 and 3, which probably wasn't quite enough sleep. At least I didn't wake up to some horror movie scene. The building wasn't in ruins, and the girl wasn't actually a skeleton. Though, in a way, this might have been worse. She was spread out on the floor on the other side of the mini-table. Her breathing was mixed with some weird gurgling sounds. He never intended to try anything in the first place. It was him who thought it was an issue. I mean, still though. I hesitantly looked at her. The saint that saved me from hell I was in last night had puked in the middle of her sleep. Ew. What was I supposed to do here? As I guess I couldn't really be too harsh on her. She wasn't waking up. Well, I just did what little I could. There, that should be good enough. I'd used tons of toilet paper to clean up her mess and flush it down the toilet. I left her stain on the floor, but it was dirty to begin with, so whatever. Okay. I didn't wet a towel and cleaned her face. Even then, she showed no signs of waking up. Some of it was on her hair and clothes, but I figured it was best if she took care of that herself. Yeah, it's Monday. The first hint of consciousness so far today. Without waiting for a response, I walked to the entrance. She'd have to take a shower and change and all that, so I'd kill time outside. I stepped into my still damp shoes with my bare feet. My socks were in the washing machine with the towel she gave me to wipe my legs, and reached for the doorknob. Woo! The sound design absolutely went off, it seems. I opened the door and was greeted by a gust of wind. The raindrops gathered on the leaves of the tree next to the building flew right into my face, making me grimace. The rain from last night was already over. The sky was pretty clear, but despite that, I noticed the visibility of my surroundings was poor. The building was surrounded by leaves. The old structure was basically buried in a forest of trees about as tall as itself. There were branches poking into the exposed hallway. It almost felt like they'd reach out and grab me if I wasn't careful. It kind of felt like I was in an overgrown ruin. I turned around, saw the room and Jamie just as I left them. Yeah, it was all real. I closed the door. There were other rooms in this building, which made me wonder if they were occupied. Hell, I wondered the same thing about the area in general. I pushed the branches aside to see if there were other buildings nearby. Suddenly something entered my vision. It didn't feel right. Something that shouldn't have been there. The leaves I moved revealed a woman clad in curious clothing. Ooh! The moment I recognized her as such, she opened her closed eyes. And our eyes meet. Another strong wind. I shielded my face from the spray of raindrops. When I looked outside again, the woman was nowhere inside. Was that an illusion? If not, then what? What kind of place was this? It could have been a real Hicksville, a marginal village, a bunch of actual ruins, or an illegal settlement. I had some theories, but I set them aside for now. It seemed like a place worth exploring regardless. Sound designer went outside with expensive equipment. Oh yeah, maybe. I went down the stairs and found no sign of the woman, or anyone else for that matter. A short distance away from the building, I turned around and sure enough, it was pretty much covered in trees. I went to the place where I saw the woman. There were footprints in the grass here. Maybe I'd find her if I followed them. I like that he's not bothered by the fact that she clearly had bright red eyes. It's always a gamble if the red eyes are also uncommon in our anime world, or, you know, that's That's just a normal eye color. The way that hair colors often are. They led me to an open area. It was unused, but it looked like someone was trying to do something with it. Was it supposed to be a construction site? Even if it was clearly abandoned. There were large rocks and lots of sediment near prefab. From what I could tell, there had been a giant landslide, which forced them to stop construction. The fact that plant growth was still minimal meant that it happened fairly recently. The footprints seemed to be going down the hill next to the site. Following them, I finally saw something that could be called civilization. There was a set of petty fields with houses nearby. So this actually was a settlement. What a relief. I decided to keep following the footprints and approach the settlement. There's a story to sound designer getting the yeah. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, you wanted a story about something funky happening in the middle of nowhere? No. You get a bunch of different sounds. I came across another unpaved path that was clearly used by people and cars. It was lined with weeds and bushes reaching up to my waist. It was home to caterpillars and grasshoppers, among other things. Oh no, what other things? Spiders were no exception. There was no shortage of insects there, so it was a good place for a nap. I wasn't particularly scared of spiders, but I didn't like them either. At least they were just harmless orb weavers. Regardless, I avoided these bushes, just in case, and followed the path like the good city boy I was. There was a large boulder! Surrounded by grass. It was strangely tall, making it look like it was put there by people. On its dewy surface, there was a grey tree frog, ready to go after the many insects scattered about. He's a city boy, but he clearly can't label all of these funny animals he keeps coming across. Like the frog and all of the insects and everything. I walked a bit further and came across a house with a small field nearby. The field's location made it safe to assume it belonged to the inhabitants. If there were inhabitants anyway. I couldn't see anyone, and just like always, there was grass everywhere. There was another boulder standing next to the house. This one was obviously placed there by human hands. What was the point? Was it a monument or something? The footprints continued into the field. The wet mud in the field was full of small, young, but healthy-looking rice plants. If you ignored the standing boulders in the area, the place looked like a normal farming village. I was both relieved and worried at the same time. From what I saw, there weren't any other buildings besides the one in the settlement. Everything beyond was just mountains, meaning that this place was completely isolated. And I was a complete outsider. There was no way things would go well if I ran into a random local. I belatedly crouched to hide myself a bit. It was probably best for me to go back. GME might have been looking for me. Oh yeah, surely crouching in the middle of the field is going to help you. Suddenly, I heard a sound. I looked for its source and found a speaker on a wooden utility pole in the middle of a small plaza. A morning broadcast. I'd never heard this tune before. It was cheerful at first, but had some parts that seemed really dark. I found it unsettling. Perplexed, I stopped walking, and what happened next made me hide myself. There was a person in the area densely surrounded by houses, but they weren't normal. What was with that appearance? What was that on her face? There was a fair distance away. I could see an old woman with some sort of cloth over her face shakily walk out from between the buildings. Oddly enough, there were boulders even there. But even weirder was the fact she walked up to one of them, lightly joined her hands, and bowed her head before it, her face still hidden. Then all was silence. All was silence. It actually looked like she was very... I give up. To me, it looked like she was praying to it. This was bad, really bad. I wandered into a settlement with a unique culture, to put it lightly. Forget causing trouble. An outsider like me could get killed here. I just turned around and ran for it. Midsommar, but Japan? Have I not actually seen Midsommar? But I have a feeling from all of the parts I heard about the plot of Midsommar, we're not safe here. I dashed up the hill, past the house, through the construction site, until I arrived back at the apartment building. Chiemi looked like a relatively reasonable person. Maybe she could tell me what was up. It just hit me that the way she described this place was somewhat weird. She basically said it wasn't normal.
あるいは、ちえみちゃんが恐るべき殺人鬼で、僕を酔っ払わせてぶっ殺す。
I would support that.
はあ、ヤマンバ。いいね。ブッシュブッシュ殺しちゃう。
No way. What if she was actually the bait they used to lure outsiders here? Eventually the broadcast stopped. Chiemi still hadn't come out of her room. She didn't respond even when I knocked or called out to her. I didn't have to worry about this, right? It just made me my inexplicable unease grow worse. What if this was a trap? Was I in a dangerous situation? I had to talk to her. If she was a normal person anyway. Maybe my best option was to run away right now? I wouldn't know where to run. I couldn't remember the path we'd taken here. Though I was pretty sure we went uphill, so maybe I had to go down. If I avoided the settlement and went back to the mountain stream, I could escape by following the wild roads. That was my best option, even with the difficulties considered. Thankfully, I take my bag with me. I took out a 5,000 yen note and put it in Shiemi's newspaper box. It was payment for last night's beer. The moment I turned around to take my leave, the door to the room next to the staircase opened slightly with a creak. I saw an eye glaring at me through the gap. Jesus Christ. A high-pitched scream pierced my eardrums. I screamed too, scared shitless, and ran for it. Suddenly I stepped onto the wet hallway floor at a bad angle. I fell. And broke all my bones. Dun dun dun.
Haru-chan! どうした？
ああ、誰このおっちゃん。
あなた、誰ですか？っていうか、大丈夫ですか？
The reasonable sounding voice prompted me to shake off the pain and raise my head. There were two boys in formal looking school uniforms. Oh. Oh.
大丈夫ですか？
He repeated the question.
ああ、ちょっと驚いただけで。
That's some very old looking school uniform.
知恵ねえの友達？
知恵ね。
ああ、ちえみちゃんのことか。大学のお知り合いですか？お知り
Oh
合い
yeah,
のなんて聞いてな
we're
かっ
really
た。
good friend.
いや、いろいろあって助けられたんだ。怪しいものじゃないんだ。怪しく見え
You
るだろうけど。
making yourself look way more shady if you say it like that.
怪しいな、おっちゃん。
どうすればいいのかな。
No, I mean,
とりあえず、
out in the sticks,
名前は
that
久
could
石花
very
明と
well
言い
be
ま
a
す。
school uniform. It's a gakudan and everything, but with the caps, it does look more military than you would.
僕は織部安永です。
Okay,
こっちは鴨志田近持。
okay,
ど
I'm
っ
not.
ちだ。
That's a cute name. Good to know. If I called him that, maybe he'd stop calling me old man. I was only 24.
それでこっちが。はるちゃん何してんの？
だって知らない人が。
Apparently, this Haru-chan was the person who'd looked at me through the gap in the door and screamed.
とりあえず大丈夫そうだから出ておいでよ。
He actually reminds me of a character from Umineko. I don't know how to feel about that. A moment later, she slammed the door shut, and after a few more moments of hesitation, opened it again. Oh! Wow. She looked like a student too, except her fashion sense was exceptionally flashy.
あなた。
久石春明といって、この近くでバイクで事故って、芹沢千恵美さんに助けられたんだ。
それってもしかして。
No, I slept in front of the door in the pouring rain, obviously.
うん、止めてもらった。
She cut my words short with her ear-piercing shriek.
通りで騒がしかったと思った。何？
Huh?
何考えてるの？嫁入り前の女性の家に不潔。
Oh my god.
ああ、うん。それはその通りで。
When does this game take place? What year is it?
千恵美。
ちえみちゃん？あれなれしい。それじゃあもしかして。ちえねえが
How
出て
old
こない
are you?
ドアに5000円挟んであるじゃん。
久石さん。
違う。単に昨日お酒をおごられたからそのお返しで。
ちえねえの体が5000円ってそんな安いわけないでしょ。ただれてるな。
The hell are these kids saying?
ああ、君、助けてくれないか？
Look at his face.
初対面で女性の部屋でお酒を飲んだんですか？そして知恵
Oh
が
my
出てくる。
god, what is going on? Crap, I had no allies here.
一体何事？
Oh, hey. So the subject of the conversation joined in.
おお、千恵美ちゃん、君からも事情を。
Yeah, she's gonna make a joke. Hold on. Thank you for that item. She's gonna make a joke, and then she's gonna make it even worse. Watch. Something was off about her aura. What happened to the lively girl she'd been yesterday?
シエネまさか。
難しいとこを見られて
Yep, there it is.
おお、いやちょっと待って、ちょっと。
もう嫁いけない
Yep. See? I knew it. I knew it. Man, what a mess. Though Chiemi's face was all pale, she was actually grinning. She obviously had a bad hangover, but that didn't stop her from messing around. After calming everyone down, Chiemi explained what actually happened. How we met in the middle of the night, how she let me stay out of goodwill, how we drank ourselves silly, and how nothing happened between us. I still think she should stab you.
いや
For
ー
fun.
久々に深酒しちゃって思いっきり入っちゃったよ。春明さん、お見苦しいとこ申し訳ない。
ああ、いや、それはいいんだけど。
That Haruchan girl still looked at me
非
funny.
常識。
ああ、うん。申し訳ない。昨日は本当に疲労困憊でね。
まあ知恵ねえだしな。雑把だよな。
事情も事情だし、年寄りたちも納得す。ちなみに会ったのってどこです？
In the middle of the river?
それはね。
下の方の河原だよ。
Should just coincidentally rain swords and anvils. I have... Wait. What's an anvil? The funny thing that they use in cartoons is like, oh, look up! No, what's made everyone change their expressions?
それは
大騒ぎだ。
They're not allowed to leave the village during the night, are they?
2日連続で2人もだなんて。
The thing blacksmiths use. Yeah, I think I'm imagining the right thing.
もしかしてまずいこと言った？
Yeah, okay.
まあいずれバレることよ。さっきあれだけ大騒ぎしちゃったから休み。
君、2日連続で2人もって何のこと？
触らないで。汚い。
I wasn't trying to touch her and I wasn't filthy. Sure, I hadn't had a bath in over a day, but still.
君、何が騒ぎになるの？
タエバあたりが拒否ってなる。
That does not explain anything. Well, that sure sounded bad.
詳しい話を聞かせてくれない？
ちょっと説明は難しいんですけど、まあここは田舎なんで町といろいろ違うってことですよ。
Yeah, I can see that. This guy, he was Oribe-kun. Ignore Chiemi, and he was the easiest person to talk
ど
to.
うすればいいかな？
まあちえみが何とかしましょう。
お
この混乱には乗るっきゃない。
Sorry.
乗るっきゃなくないもっち。とりあえず行っちゃいな。私らちょっと遅れていくから。
まあちょっと時間ずらした方がいいよね。揉めそ
Well,
うだし。
something. If they're already like, oh, the elders are going to be upset or whatever, I assume that the entire little village is led by some elders, and the elders are probably like, oh, do not interact with the outside world, do not let anyone in, blah blah blah. And I'm assuming they already had another person from outside come in just the day before.
さすがやすくん、察しがいいぞ。ごめんけど2人のお守りよろしくね。
うん。
もう知恵ね、子供扱いはやめてよ。そうだ、うんこしてやるぞ。
Excuse me.
ほらほら行くぞ、モッチーにはるちゃん。
And so the students walked off toward the stairs. It was kind of easy to tell what sort of relationship they had. Anyway.
彼らがこの建物の他の住人？
Anyway.
そういうこと。学生寮だからね。
Oh. Student dorm. And this Hicksville? Still, my senses had betrayed me. There actually were other people here.
ちなみに春明さん、他の人と出会ってトラブったりしてないよね。
Technically.
うん。一応それ警戒してたから。
ならよかった。
Stop treating me like a child. Stop moving. Yeah, that will
ちょ
show
っとしたら食
him.
堂に行きましょう。
あ、朝食？
No, to explain why you're here.
の朝食は今から食べてください。食堂へは一応面通しをしに行くの。
誰と？
The village elders.
よそ者が皿長からやってきたってことに文句を言いそうな人たち。
Oh, so like the Taiba person, huh?
お世話になります。
They gotta eat him.
いいってことです。その代わり朝のことは秘密で。
そりゃもちろん。ところで、サラナガって何？
そう、 サラナガの瀬っていう川だけど、あの辺まとめてサラナガって呼ぶの。
Maybe the river is actually a way to the underworld. Wow, and he crossed over to the other side.
いわく。
あの川は汚れていて、
I
死
don't...
人が帰ってくるみたいな伝説がね。
Oh. That's why they reacted like that.
他にもその手のルールというか。
Maybe he did die when he fell down those cliffs.
たくさんあります。
You know? And
な
then
の
he
で
found the
基本はちえみ
river.
ちゃんにお任せを。
He's not yet aware that he's dead. Gladly, on all fronts.
ちなみに身の危険とかは？
No.
ないない。でもいろいろ不愉快な思いをする前に早く出ていけた
The
方がい
stream
い
is
か
like
も。
the stream is sticks.
そのための根回しに行
That's
く
why the sound is so epic.
そうそう。
The settlement I'd straight to was a weird place, but at least the guide was reliable. And she wanted me to leave ASAP, huh? That was depressing. Now, listen, if someone told me to get out before I get into more danger, I think I would try to get out, actually. He's a literal... Chiemi gave me some cup ramen for breakfast. She boiled the water in a small electric kettle. The girl herself was too hungover to eat anything. I did take the opportunity to pay her back for last night's drink in person, though. Then we made our way to the dining hall.
この岩って何
Alright,
な
I
の？
really hope I can manage to make it to like one bad ending though. Obviously, it's like the whole introductory period of the game, so it's like, oh hey, hello, this is going to be the cast of characters.
一応お守りみたいなもの昔からあるよ。
Oh my god, actually, one second. Can I... No, clearly that's... No, that's just sound effect, that's not background. This is... Oh my god, it's all just one sound. I need to turn that down, it's really hard on my ears. You need to make food. Okay. I doubt you're going to miss much.
よそでは見たことないよ。
ああ、言われたらそうかも。
She led me along a narrower path than I'd followed earlier. It didn't seem like any cars used this one. It was very farmy, I guess. This area was also littered with those boulders. Some were cracked, broken, or half buried in the fields. They were clearly religious symbols, but it didn't look like they were that important these days. Or were they? Now that I knew I was safe, I once again became curious about this place.
人だ。
He was walking on the field.
たくみ兄ちゃんだ。おはよ
Chiemi waved her hand. The man responded, but then froze midway.
う。じゃあ行きましょう。
He's like, oh my god, why is there a random stranger
いい
with
の？
you?
多分あの人、僕の存在に驚いたんじゃ。
大丈夫。どうせ後で食堂に来るから、説明はその時にするってことで。
Well, if she said so. As an outsider, I had no choice but to rely on her. This was the part of the village I saw this morning, where the buildings were more densely packed. I didn't notice it back then, but it was actually kinda weird. Basically, it felt desolate. The wooden bungalows in particular were more or less overgrown, buried in tall grass and other greenery. If this was all I saw of the village and someone told me it was abandoned, I had easily believed them. However, two of the buildings stood out. Ooh, there was a hall right beyond the hill. It wasn't that big, but it looked grand and well maintained. The other building was obviously the dining hall. It looked a bit dirty, but I could tell there were people inside. From what I could tell, it was the most lively place in this poor excuse for a community. Suddenly, the three students walked out chatting about something.
あ、知恵ね。と、夫妻さん。
再度おはよう。ちょっと遅くない？
モッチーがバカなことばっか言って遅くなっちゃったんだもん。
そうだ、僕が悪だ。味噌汁をよこせ。
まあ早足なら間に合うでしょう。みんなしっかり勉強しといで。
What kind of class do they have where it's just the three of them? Half dashing, the three ran up the path we
み
came
んな
from.
高校生なんだ。
そう。山をぐーっと登ったところに分校があるん
Oh
だ。
god, imagine having to go
私
up
も
an
3
entire
年前ま
mountain
で
to
通
go
っ
to
てた
school.
な。
やたら不便だね。
それでもみんなあの寮に住める分優遇されてるんだけど。
Chiemi was entirely straight-faced. There wasn't even a hint of a smile.
気合を入れて入りましょう。
そうしましょう。
Ooh!
気合入んない。
We laughed a little and passed the curtain.
いらっしゃい。あら、
The inside was as aged as the outside, but it looked well maintained.
ちえみちゃん、お客さん？
The hostess-looking lady asked. Though somewhat aged and fatigued, she was certainly beautiful. Definitely. I think I read that wrong. There were two others beside her. One was a lady in her 70s or 80s. She was probably the one I saw this morning. The silhouette matched. The other was a man who seemed a bit younger than her, probably in his late 60s. Jesus Christ. He's ripped. Though they were just sitting there, there was a menacing aura about them.
紹介するね。房石春明さん。昨日の晩、皿長で迷ってたのを、ちえみが保護しました。
You went outside in the middle of the night! Their reactions were powerful. The lady gasped while the two elders rose to their feet with alarm. The tension was already there the moment I walked in. That was already there the moment I walked in reached its peak.
気にするのもわかるけど、これは単なる偶然です。あの子と違って、この人は素性が明らかだし、バイクで旧道に突っ込んで事故ったって非常に気の毒な事情もある。そんなわけで、我々としてはこの人がちゃんと
How does some weird cold? I don't know what you mean.
ちえみは思います。どうですか、皆様方。
After saying all that, she and me fell silent. The ball was in their court now.
まあ、それは大変。
The lady voiced a harmless opinion, careful not to upset the old people. It was pretty clear who was in charge. There were elders in more ways than one.
ちいちゃんはなんで夜に皿長なんぞ言っとったかね。
虫の知らせかな。前の日にあんなことあったし、眠れなかったから。
そいじゃやっぱり読み人じゃないんかね。
Oh, what now?
やめ、タエバ。
From the conversation, it was pretty clear that something had happened before I arrived here. It was probably similar to what happened with me. She'd mentioned some little girl. Perhaps there was a child who'd wandered in here like I did. According to Chiemi, the Sananaga Rapids were a place of significance around here. It was a place from which dead people came to life or whatever. Oh, so this town must have been the lady that Boyd mentioned, and the Yomibito must have been a term for the dead who came from there. Apparently, the primary goal here was convincing these elders to approve helping me.
おい、どっから来た？
Tokyo! The old man's voice put my derailed mind back on track.
はい、東京です。
いくつじゃ？
24.
24です。
地位より上じゃが。
He chuckled. I immediately realized he was taking a jab at me for hiding behind a younger girl.
申し遅れました。房石春明です。芹沢さんにも紹介された通り、バイクで事故って迷い込みま
I
した。
wonder if something would change if he mentioned that a really rude girl at a convenience store told us the way here.
どうやら僕はここでは異分子のようで、変なことを言ったりしたりして皆さんに迷惑かけたくないなと。それで芹沢さんに紹介をお願いしたんですが、僕から改めてお願いします。すぐ出て行きますから、それまでは僕の存在を多めに見ていただけないかと。それと僕を助けてくれた芹沢さんを責めないであげてください。
Surprising.
春明さん。
おそらく芹沢さんはここの常識を外れたところで
You
僕を
do not
助け
know
て
the
くれたんだ
village
と思うんです。
customs. I
学
think
生
you're
たちも
actually
み
going
ん
to
な驚
upset
いて
them
た。
if you say that.
まあ。
これでも大人です。自分の責任は自分で取りますし、皆さんにかけた迷惑は可能な限り償います。ですので、どうかお願いします。
I bowed my head.
ちゃんとしとる、タエバ。
あたしゃすかんわね。こんなに髪ちゃんと染めてから。
He colored his hair brown. How dare he? Shit. I forgot I didn't look very presentable to more traditionalist people. Man, this lady would have a heart attack if I went in there. Like, alright.
よそは皆こうよ。はよう返せばええ。
ほいじゃ好きにしなさいね。
I guess I got that half-hearted approval.
春明。春か。うちの孫も春じゃ。紛らわしい。
あ、もしかして
そう、春ちゃんのおじいさんの牧島勘三さんよ。
Would it be bad for the lady to have a heart attack? Would it be bad for Taiba to have a heart attack? I didn't know what else to say. Haruchan and I weren't on the best of terms so far. Anyway, it seemed like we were past a difficult part.
皿長に突っ込んだか。
いえ、コンビニで
Oh,
道を
we
聞
do
いた
Oh,
後
he does mention
脇
the
道に
direction
入
of
っ
the
て
convenience
見
store.
細になったところで滑り落ちて
Yeah, I had to. I know it wasn't that good. I had to, though.
で、皿長登ったか。なぜ途中で引き返さねえ。
Because I saw light on the other side? He wasn't impressed by my choice of actions. It just hit me that I had no idea how much time passed between the crash and my meeting with CME.
わしと匠で見てきちゃる。
匠は他を見よるわよ。
耐えば、追い出す思うて手伝わせ。
カンちゃんはいっつもそうね。
ばあちゃん、おやさん。
Hey! That sure is a guy. We're joined by a new inhabitant.
ちえみ、こいつは？
あ、匠姉ちゃん。
Oh my god, he's big, big. Oh, so he was the one we saw in the field. Wow, he sure looked big from up close. Although field work was good for his muscles, clearly. And from what I could tell, he was in his 30s. As Chimi introduced me and told him of my situation, I found out his name, Takumi Muro.
ああ、そいつは災難だったな。ああ、おやさん。
わしとお前で拾う。
だな。ばあちゃん、こいつ助けっからちょっと待っててな。もう農薬は巻き終わってるから、昼から草刈るわ。
匠は優しいね。
こんなもんなんでもないって。すぐ何もなかったように。
I mean, he looks like a nice enough guy.
そうね。
Nothing, eh?
お兄ちゃんや。
Yeah?
え、僕ですか？はい。
ここは安水言うてね。あんまりええ場所じゃないんよ。
You live here and you're saying it's not a good place? It was a place that wasn't good? Not my presence here?
あたしらもよそのもんが苦手だし、よそのもんも触れんがええ。
Okay.
じゃから、はよ出てお行き。
はい。
I mean, I wasn't planning on staying, man.
話はついた感じか？
うん。ありがとう、匠兄ちゃん。
I was beginning to understand how things worked here. Although Kanzo Makishima's voice was the most powerful here, it was also important to get Tai-san's approval. Kanzo-san was probably in charge of tackling the settlement's practical problems, while Tai-san provided spiritual and more moral direction. It gives you Shinada vibes. Shinada. Shinada. Help me. Who's Shinada? When it was time to be civilized, Takumi-san came and convinced Tai-san, acting as an intermediary. Yakuza. Yakuza Shinada, oh my god. I do not know who you're talking about right now. Okay, is a character from a game I haven't played yet. Okay, I was kind of losing it there for a second, like, oh my god. I literally just finished playing Yakuza 4. When it was time to be civilized, Takumi-san came and convinced Tai-san, acting as an intermediary. Oh, I read that. Actually, you're good, it's all fine. He reminds me of a guy from a webtoon called Laugh Tractor, actually, that I haven't caught up with in a long time. But one of the main characters in Laugh Tractor also kind of looks like that. It's really sweet. It looked like Takumi-san himself understood such subtleties, and Shiemi seemed to rely on this side of him. Oh, we don't know your name yet. The lady brought some tea to the old folk. Perfect timing. Ah. So that was her name.
朝早くからお疲れ様でした。
なーに、安水とばあちゃんと香織さんのためならへでもねえよ。
まあ。
These two sure seemed to get along. They looked about the same age too. Do they?
さあ、お客さんもご飯にされます？
あ、いえ、いただいてきたので。
Like, if he's in his 30s, he must be in his early 30s. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't say they look the same age.
おにぎりでもお出ししましょう。
ああ、それは。
ごめんなさい。ちょっと急ぎで電話借りていいかな、香織さん。
Oh.
それはいいけど、お茶くらいは。
Lurking while boomer things happen. Hi, Sini. Hope you're doing well as well.
ありがとう。でもほんと緊急だから行こう、春明さん。
Okay.
うん。
It didn't look like I could say no. We went up the nearby stairs to what seemed like a living space. At the end of the creaky hallway, there was a black rotary phone, a rarity in this day and age.
これがここ、安水唯一の電話だから。
Okay. Seriously?
ちなみに携帯電話はどのキャリアも通じませんので。
Clearly.
そうなのか。でもどこに電話しろって？
The police?
ロードサービスとか保険とか、あと必要なら家族にも連絡。
Oh, that makes sense. Hell, I should have been the one to say that.
さっきも言ったけど、できるだけここを早く出られた方がいいから、使えるものは何でも使いましょう。
よそ者が歓迎されない場所だから？
そういうことです。
それ以上の詮索は無用と。
そういうことです。
春明さんはとっても察しがいい。それはいいことだと思う。ただ好奇心もとっても強く見える。
バレたか。
バレますとも。でも正直あんまりいろいろ首突っ込まない方がいいかも。
Or you might end up dead.
どうせすぐに別れるんだし。
その通り。
なんだか寂しいな。
お、ちえみちゃんのメアド御書も
くれるならぜひ。
やった、これで男友達53人目。
テンションガタ落ちですわ。
We still went on to exchange our info. I could only hope that being number 53 wasn't as big a problem as it sounded.
それはともかく、個人的興
How
味
do
で
you
言えば
exchange contact
何が
info
問
if
題になってて、
What?
どんな背景があるのか知りたいのだけど。
they only have a rotary phone in the entire thingy and not a single mobile provider works here? What kind of contact info are they exchanging? Mail addresses? Do they have internet down there? Out there? What?
おすすめしないな。
なぜかな。
私が不愉快になるか
But
ら。
how would she use it?
あんまり故郷が好きじゃない？
うん。正直嫌い。
ここの人とは仲良さそうに見えるけど。
Post address. I'll send you a pigeon. Mail
あ
pigeon.
あ、それは見えるだけですね。私相当な問題児だったんで、ご年配方とは結構気まずいよ。それにパッと見はわからないいろんなしがらみもあるし、まあ住人自体はそんなに嫌いじゃないけどね。
With that, I decided to stop prying about this place any further. I'd back away before she came to hate me.
あ、でも一つだけ聞いていい？
いい度胸。何かな？
室匠さんのこと好きだったりする？
え？私が？
うん。
さすがにそれはないな。
He's over a decade older. Okay, so he is actually in his 30s.
10以上年違うし。それに匠兄ちゃんは昔から香織さん一筋だし。
やっぱそうなんだ。結婚してるわけじゃないの？
うん。香織さん未亡人だから。
Oh. Well, that seemed complicated. That aside, Chiemi had been acting a bit strange. Why had she dragged me away from the tea? It seemed so awkward too. Assuming she hadn't been jealous of Kaori-san and simply didn't want her to charm me, it would mean that she just hadn't wanted me to drink the tea. Why? Also, why'd she feed me cup ramen if I could have just gotten food at the dining hall? Looking too deep into things was part of my nature, though things were never as bad as I assumed. I went on to call my insurance company where I found out something. Apparently, this village was hundreds of kilometers away from the nearest service station, meaning I was ineligible for the normal service and had to pay extra. And the extra is no small amount, too. It actually went over 100,000, yeah! Also, I could have avoided this if I'd taken a more expensive plan. This was all my own fault for not taking the bike salesman's advice. Shit. I said I would consider it and hung up. Then I went back to the dining hall. That's the worst part, though. Like, you take some kind of insurance, you're like, okay, you know, if you never actually do need it, it's all good. But the one time you actually need it, you're like, fuck, should have taken a more expensive one. The customers had changed completely. Tai-san, Kanzo-san, and Takumi-san were gone now. They were replaced by a caricature of a juvenile delinquent. The fuck is with your face? He shouted at me. He seemed like he was trying too hard. He then slammed his bowl and chopsticks on a table and stood up to intimidate me.
夫妻師春明です。
What's with his face?
まあ義継、初対面の方になんて口の利き方を。
うるせえババ。おいチェネ、そいつ誰だよ。
He looks stupid.
バイクで事故った旅行者の春明さん。
Boy, was that introduction half-assed.
改めてこちら織部香織さんと次男の義継くん、安永くんが長男ね。
安永くんって朝の彼？
Yes.
そう、よく見たら似てるでしょ。
The Odibes, what an unpredictable family.
兄貴のこと言ってんじゃねえよ。
Hey.
全だ。
そう言われてもな、モテちゃうからな、ちえ姉ちゃんは。
From what I'd seen, the confidence was well justified.
とっとと町へ戻っちまえ、バカ女。
What is wrong with this guy?
どうしよう春明さん、バカは否定できないかも。
なんとちえみちゃんはバカだったのか。よーし、バカバカ。
ひどい。
言ってやろうぜ義継くん。バカバカ。
なんなんだよてめえ。チェネバカにしてんじゃねえよ。
You're pretty conflicted, aren't you?
ごめんちえみちゃん、本心じゃないんだ。
Can we get on with it? I want someone to
見事な連
die.
続手のひら返し。このちえみをあっけに取られさせると
Like, what the fuck is with all of these people?
ちえみちゃんには負けないぜ。
付き合ってんのかてめえら。
Boy, did I wish.
いい加減になさい義継。とうに遅刻でしょ。
うるせえ。行かねえよ。
Mumbling something, the kid walked out of the dining hall, leaving his half-full bowl behind.
ごめんなさいね。お恥ずかしいところを。
根は素直ないい子なんですけどね。
Is he? Yeah, I could actually see that somewhat.
あ、ところで牧島さんとムロさんは？
あ、もうバイク拾いに
There's
出
so
ま
many
したよ。
names, I'm immediately fucking lost on who's who, not gonna lie.
追いかけないと。
場所は分かってるみたいだったし、大丈夫じゃない？
いや、一応ニュートラルにすれば押せるけどさ、操作わかるのかな。あとさすがに手伝うべきでしょ。作業が非効率になっちゃまずいし。
その程度なら手出しはやめときましょう。
なんで？
Now these people are likable. Yeah, right? It's like, how do you write so many, like, how do you introduce in less than 2 hours so many characters that all
とりも直さず、春明さんがよそ者だからです。長時間一緒に歩くのはちょっとおすすめできない。
問題になりそうな人たちには思えなかったけど。
そりゃあ2人とも大人だから。でも基本的にこのちえみほどオープンな人はここにはそうそういないからね。春明さんは平気かもだけど、一緒にいると向こうがストレス溜めるかもしれない。ただでさえ今普通じゃないから。
まあそうね。任せろと言われたら手出しをしない方がいいでしょうね。
Okay.
そうなんですか。
安水には安水のやり方がある。男の人たちはそれにこだわるから。
I could somewhat understand that. A visitor should behave like one. Doing anything more would be uncalled for. It was an old-fashioned way of thinking, but this was an old-fashioned kind of place for sure.
じゃあ、どこで待とうか。
うちに戻って待ちましょう。
I expected as much, but it still made me curious. Normally you'd expect we sit around and drink some tea right here, so why didn't we? Clearly she doesn't want you to drink or eat anything from anyone else, but why? No idea. As we waited, she and me, casually but uncomfortably, told me several things. First, I found out that the people here in Yasumizu were a bit on edge right now. The reason for that was the fact that, excluding me, they had 3 whole outsiders here. I'd assumed this myself from what I knew so far, but apparently yesterday morning a little girl was found straying around the Saranga Rapids. They couldn't even find out her name, let alone who her parents were, so they didn't know how to handle her. For now, one of the inhabitants was looking after her. Like I'd been told, the more superstitious inhabitants, Tarzan mostly, saw her as a bad omen. I suggested leaving her to the police, but she and me didn't seem to think it was a good idea. It barely made sense to me, but if I were to believe her, things around here were such that not even the cops could do anything. Oh god. Yeah, clearly there's some kind of cult here, not gonna lie. Apparently the remaining 2 outsiders were a pair of journalists gathering info for a magazine article. Unlike the little girl and I, they'd come here via the normal route through Kami Fujiyoshi, and they weren't considered a bad omen or whatever, and therefore weren't considered a bad omen. Still, even normal outsiders put the people here on edge. Thank you for the hiding time. Through this talk, I also got some details about the area itself. Yasumisa was a settlement part of an autonomous region called Fujiyoshi Village, or simply Fujiyoshi. I'd also been on the map I'd been shown at the store. Fujiyoshi was split into two areas, Yasumisa and Kami Fujiyoshi. They were separated by a mountain. Going to Kami Fujiyoshi took about an hour by foot or 20 minutes by car on the winding but paved road. Side note, the school the students went to was in Kami Fujiyoshi. These two settlements had ties so strong they shared customs and culture. Chiemi said the local seasonal events were quite unconventional. I asked her to elaborate, but all she would say was that Yasumisa had special meaning to Fujiyoshi. She was making me more suspicious than I wanted to be. This conversation wasn't nearly as exciting as the one we had last night. Well, at least I found out she didn't have a boyfriend right now. Very intriguing. I need this guy to die. Genuinely. It was nearly noon when Takumi-san came back, ending my waiting game. Side note, the door was fully open the entire time we waited. It was probably Chiemi's way of saying that nothing bad was happening here.
バイクってのはおめえもんだな、おやっさん。
去年取った獅子ほどじゃねえ。
I really didn't expect him to just carry it here. Like, sure, there were two of them, but just how much mass did you have to have to haul a 200-kilogram piece of metal so easily? A lost memory? Really? The unpaved road and the river made my sweet ride really damn
どう
muddy.
やってあの崖を上げたんです？
滑車があんだよ。たまに下から物を引き上げなきゃなんねえから。
おい、匠。
と、余計なこと言ってる場合じゃねえ。これ大丈夫なのか？だいぶ水に浸かっちまったみてえだけど。
どうかな。見てみます。
じゃああとは任すぜ。おやっさん、結構かかっちまったから。研ぎ直しは
You used to hang out there. Oh, I set him off with a loud thank you. Now
手
then.
伝おっか？
とりあえず一人でなんとかなるかやってみるよ。
You made the whole treasure. Oh, I did that as well when I was younger. The worst part of the repairs was right at the beginning. I wanted to start by washing it, but that old lady, Yamawaki was her full name, got really mad at me. She didn't want any Sadanaga mud on the ground here because it was corrupt or something. Well, damn, bitch! But this plaza was the only place with easy access to a water supply tap, so I did my best and convinced her to let me wash it as close to the edge as possible. Once it was clean, I could start checking what was wrong with it. It actually looked pretty good. Bent in places, sure, but the wash got rid of the bad sound the wheels made. The only problem was that both tires were flat. And it was a pretty big one.
道具とか持ってきてないの？
Spent like 20 minutes doing the whole thing.
普通バイク旅行とかって持ってくるもんじゃないの？
I mean, at least he was wearing gloves and a helmet. He was riding a bike in jeans, so he's not fully there with this old bike safety thing.
いざとなればロードサービス呼べばいいかな。的なノリだったんで。
But it was about the experience, not how much the treasure was worth, right?
不準備。
いや、返す言葉もない。正直やけくそで出発したから冷静でもなかったのかも。
お？事情を聞いてほしそう。
I get broken up with.
彼女に振られたんだよ。
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
なんか嘘っぽいな。
It wasn't.
それはともかく、タンク修理道具か。野里屋敷ならあるかもしれないな。
野里屋敷？
うん、安水で一番大きなお家。野里屋敷にないものは安水にはないよ。
なるほど。
Does anyone live there? Like, do we have to ask someone to borrow those, or?
実はあんまり会うのはおすすめできないんだけど。
It's not just a random mansion filled with knickknacks.
また偉い人が登場？
その上ちょっと人格的にね。
Cool. And so we walked up the hill and arrived at the so-called Nosato mansion. From what I could tell, it was located at the highest point in the settlement, and like Chiemi said, it was definitely a hell of a building. It had an elegant western design, which would probably look even better if the place were better maintained. The yard was overgrown, and the building itself was pretty much buried in ivy and small trees. If someone told me it was cursed, I'd instantly believe them. Did people actually live
イ
here?
ンターホン生きてるかな？
She pressed a button next to the aged iron gate. Yasumise was a quiet place, so I could easily hear the bell ring inside.
もう一度押そうか？
やめとこ。何度も鳴らすと心象悪いから。
そんなに気難しい人なの？
そうね。気難しい。うん。いい表現だ。
I wasn't sure what she meant, but I opted to just wait rather than ask more questions. Soon enough, the person in question walked out of the mansion.
なんだ？誰だ？
Hi! He wasn't young, but he didn't look middle-aged either. He certainly looked high-strung, that much was sure.
どうも、野里さん。芹沢です。
知っている。芹沢千恵美。そっちの青年は存じ上げないがね。
Hi.
春明さん、こちら野里清之助さん。清之助さん、事故車の夫妻師春明さんです。
That introduction was the bravest one yet.
なんだって？
I explained the situation again. He furrowed his brow when I mentioned the Sananaga, in addition to the reason we were here.
というわけで、早々にここから出ていくためにも、修理道具をお持ちだったら貸していただけないかと。
タイヤはチューブですかね？
あ？
一応パッチもあるがね。チューブタイヤだったら素人には難しいんじゃないのか？
What
で
the
きる
fuck
な
does
ら
that
いい
mean?
がね。なあ、チューブがバーストしてたら交換するしかないが、替えはさすがに持っておらんよ。譲る義理もないがね。
すみません。ちょっとそのあたりあんまり詳しくないまま乗っちゃったんで。
ちょっと話にならんね。おとなしく何十万高の勉強料を払って拾ってもらうのをおすすめしよう。
I do not have 100,000 yen. I had no retort to that.
野里さん、多分ですけど、今の時期、これ以上よその車がここに入るとか。は
あ？君は間違いりだろう。未だにそんなもの信じてるのかね？
私はともかく、じいさまばあさま方がちょっと。ここ数日やたら外来者多いですし。
安水の連中の事情は知らんよ。私にどうしろと？え？
Oh god. With every single character they introduce, I'm like, wow. This is the worst one
いや
yet.
そこまでなくても、藤吉の長者として困ってるマロードを助けるのにお力添え
And
をい
then
ただ
they
けないか。
introduce a new character and it's like, wow. This is the worst one yet.
困った時だけ長者を頼るのではなく、安水流のもてなしでもしたらどうかね。崖から突き落とすんだったか？
Excuse me? Well, what the hell?
いや、そんな言っちゃダメですよ。
Jimmy's tone was slightly off. I could feel a bit of irritation behind her words.
本当、お恥ずかしい限りなんですが、なんとかしてみるんで、道具だけ貸してもらえませんか？
なんだと？
道具やらキットやら仮に入るだけで、作業は別のところでしますから。もちろん。
まあ構わんがね。下手に物を破損させたりしたら弁償してもらうぞ。学生だか知らんが、きっちりしてもらう。
Then he pointed me to the garage and walked back to the mansion.
いやー、なんとかならない気がしてきた。チューブがバーストってなんだろう。
春明さん、かっこ悪。
え？バイク乗りならスパナ一本で何でも修理してみせろと？
まあわかりませんけど、なんかそういうメカに強い感じ出したらグッとくる女は多いのでは。
じゃあ野里氏にはグッときたと？
いやー、どうせ知ったかぶりだから。あの人多分自分じゃ整備もできないよ。筋金入りの裏なり病炭だし。
え、じゃあなぜバイクの整備用品なんて？
They started out really low. They were like, okay, we're gonna make our main character super unlikable. Oh, but then people won't like to play, you know? You have to make them root for the main guy. And they're like, oh, okay, okay. Well, we'll just make everyone else worse then. Oh, yeah.
野里屋敷は上富士吉にある野里家のもっと大きいお屋敷からいらないものを運んで置いとくような場所らしくてね。5、6年前に
Apparently this game is supposed to take place sometime in modern times, but goes out in the fucking sticks. It's all very... That was the current side for you. Couldn't hide your shame if your life depended on it. Anyway, I now knew that the man was the condescending, pretentious type. He still helped me out though, and it was true I didn't know much about bike repairs, so I couldn't really get mad.
さ、そうと決まれば使えそうなものは全部持ち出してやろうぜ。
さながら山賊のごとく乗った。私邪魔じゃないかな。
いや、適当に話してないと気がめいるんで、相槌打ってくれるだけでも助かる。
The instructions that came with the repair kit told me that my bike's tires were a rather difficult type to repair. Apparently I had to remove the tires, but where did I even start with that? Well, as long as I didn't break it, nothing I did could be worse than having to call road service down here, so I just tried taking it apart. But as I removed whatever nuts I could, I made the situation even worse than it was. Of course. Yeah, this really wasn't a job for an amateur.
お兄さん大変そうね。ちえみちゃんもよかったら食べてね。
I mean, frankly, I also wouldn't know where to start with repairing a bike. But also, I'm not legally allowed to drive a bike. So this wouldn't happen to me in the first place.
なんか大元になってんな。機械っつうのは。
まあ、壊れさえしなきゃ文明の利器は便利だけどね。
日暮れまでになお。
厳しいかも。最悪なんとかするから安心して。ばあちゃん。
I really appreciated how she handled the visitors in my stead.
なあ、知恵ね。バイクって免許簡単に取れんの？
どうだろう。原付なら簡単よ。私も持ってるし。
中型大型の二輪は結構めんどいよ。普通免許取るのと同じ学科講習もあるし。バイク好き。
ああ、関係ねえだろ。ちなみにそれいくらすんだよ。
これは新車で80万くらいかな。
たっけはたっけバカどうやって貯めんだよ。
まあバイトとか頑張ったから。
そんな新車が事故ってなんて。
I think my number one guy I don't like is that guy.
ちえみ先生。
Simply for his entire overreaction to literally anything and everything of being like everyone else is just an asshole, but that guy's a loud asshole.
先生思わず全部食べちゃった。春秋さん気の毒。
You clearly do not want me eating you guys' food. I didn't want sympathy from the one responsible. As I told her off for not leaving me any food, I somehow removed the tires. I could only hope I'd be able to fix this up. I've had this thing for less than a month, but the trouble it was putting me through made it feel somewhat dear to me. I wanted to fire it up again and make it go as fast as it could. Suddenly I heard an engine. It felt like it was mocking me. Hold on, an engine? Here? I stopped walking and turned around to see an unfamiliar van drive into the plaza. Bearing the classic-looking piece of junk in Nosato's garage, this was the first time I'd seen a car here. As far as I knew, no one living here actually owned a running car, so... There's a girl who goes Kia all the time, there's an oddly racist grandma, there's a scream dude, there's a posh asshole dude, there's an obnoxious kid, but what kid? Yeah, it's like... We have one type of obnoxious and annoying, or every type of obnoxious and annoying you could have here. Apparently. I knew it. Once the van stopped, a lady stepped out of it. Oh! She's pretty. That's what I wanted to say. Fuck you, my guy. Good evening! How you doing?
今日もご迷惑をおかけします。これまで見ないお方ね。
Hi, do you know how to fix a bike?
どうも。
My name's Haruaki Bike Crash. Well, it is true. Crap, that was no time for an inside joke. I quickly introduced myself properly.
ちょっとその辺で事故りましてね。ここによ。
なるほど、学生さんね。事故は災難だったわね。ちなみに私はこういうものです。
The woman gave me a business card. Hisako Mamiya, a freelance writer. Her pen name was Kyuko Hosei.
ちなみに読んだことない？
No, sorry.
すみません。
だよね。まだまだマイナーだし、そもそも記事載った雑誌、主婦向けとシニア向けだし。
それは難易度高いな。ちなみに何を書いておられるんです？
フードレビュー変わった食品専門のね。
Ah.
あれですか？世界で一番臭い缶詰とかそういう。
そうそう。まあシュールなんて今更ネタになんないから国内に絞って。
I don't want to share the same brain as this guy though. Like,
そんなわけで
he's inexperienced. But this entire game so far is a very experience, not gonna lie.
どこでも行くから。
ラボの後輩がキャンパス内で取ったキノコで豚汁作ったら集団幻覚が起きまして。
思いつきと毒物は却下ね。
As we chatted, I became curious.
そういえば取材の方はお二人とか。
ええ、もう一人いるわ。ちょっと降りてくるのに時間が。あ、来た来た。
I looked at the van and became completely awestruck. I felt like the van had shed its skin or something. That made no sense, but seriously, how did this fit in there? Oh, now you also... Oh he was gargantuan. Takumi-san was something, but this man was on the level of a foreign heavyweight wrestler. Though unlike Takumi-san, this man was primarily fat rather than muscle. As he walked out of the driver's seat, the van shook wildly. Alright. Never mind. Haruaki goes down on the list of how much I like characters. Again.
オールラウンドでご活躍中で、写真はきっと気づかないうちに何枚か目にしてるはずよ。
I didn't know much about photography, but I was definitely convinced. There was a certain kind of authority or gravity around him. Oh my god. Is every second sentence you're going to say about the guy how fat he is? Really? He wasn't saying a word and I couldn't tell what he was thinking.
どうもはじめまして。久石春明です。
Was he even alive?
どうも。
After a strange pause, he slowly bowed like the moving mountain he was and greeted me with a voice like a titan. He seemed somewhat difficult to interact with.
今日で最終日でしたっけ？ええ、オリルさんが秘蔵の獅子なれを開けてくださるってこと。よその人に耐えられるかな。まあ、胃薬も持ってきてるから大丈夫でしょ。
And so Mamiyashi and Hashimoto-shi walked up to the dining hall. Who would have thought that such a beauty was a delicacy hunter? I had to admit that Gap was kind of charming. Every moving woman we've seen so far was kind of charming to you, my guy. Because clearly, you're not over the breakup with your girlfriend yet. Which is how you got into this mess in the first place. As intrigued as I was, I couldn't waste any more time. I had to fix my bike already. Ooh! Hello. You knew. A lot of things had surprised me here in Yasumizu, but nothing as much as this.
もしもし?
No reaction. At first glance, he looked like a poor man too senile to think and perceive properly.
何かご用ですか?
Maybe he can fix your bike. I made sure to speak as clearly as possible. It didn't look like he understood. I figured it was best to just ignore him and resume the repairs, but... I looked at him again. He was still just standing there like his soul and brain had left his body. A vacant stare, yellowed eyes, half-open mouth covered in saliva. The woman was female! I felt this very charming. Clearly, no, but that's really how he acts, like... woman! Yes! You're gonna slip into slumber. Okay, here. Get some rest. Thank you for coming by. Oh, you had pizza. What kind of pizza? He spoke again.
何が来るんです?
What? His voice was too hoarse to make out.
何ですって?
I placed my hand against my ear. He finally understood what I wanted and prepared to whisper something. I brought my ear closer. Oh! The sudden shout caught me completely off guard and made me fall to the ground. He looked down at me, laughing. He clapped and opened his half-toothless mouth into a wild smile. Well, at least he's having fun. Mozzarella? Good though. Sounds good. Bent his body in a weird way, laughed like he was convulsing, turned around, and just left. Chiemiya joined the journalists and only just came back.
何が遅かったと？
おじいちゃん、知らない人にはああやっていたずらするんだ。
おー、神さん。
あれ、ちえみちゃんの？
No, he's just the village grandpa.
いやいや、本名は知らないんだ。昔から休みずにいるおじいちゃんだけど、昔からこんな感じ。
Well, he's certainly having a normal one.
ボケてるというか、ちょっとおかしいのか、あの人。
うん。みんな狼じじいって呼んでるけどね。
Named after the boy who cried wolf, I assume. Doesn't work as well though. Yeah, actually, he's... Actually, hold on. I saw him earlier in the settings. Hold on. He's literally in there as the old man who cried wolf. Oh. Which also means we're only missing like 2 more characters. The geezer who cried wolf.
Okami. Ne.
As far as I knew, there were no wild wolves in Japan. There used to be, but after the last sighting in either the Meiji or Showa era, they'd be considered extinct here. Modern Japan's image of wolves came from Western fairy tales and the like. It wasn't linked to anything in our culture or life. Even The Boy Who Cried Wolf was a Western tale. Speaking of geez, you gotta go. Yes, it is time. Thank you for coming. Bye. Would you like to give one last pat to the cat because he just got up and is now sitting down and looking at me very expectantly? Yeah, good night. Good night. This brand of insanity make him repeat the tale or something. A bit weirded out by the circumstances, I went back to repairing my bike. After a bit more time, I somehow took off the rubber from the tires and removed the tubes. Both tires were pierced by some really rusty nails. Fuck, this kind of stuff only happened at the worst of times. Then I applied the patches and filled them with air using a manual pump. I wet the tubes. There were no bubbles, meaning no air was leaving them. Things were looking good. You know, for someone who does not know how to repair them, that fucking... He's clearly doing well. After the high schoolers came back from school and passed by, no one else stopped to talk. Chiemi was looking a bit bored now.
なんとかなりそうかも。
嘘。あんなにダメっぽかったのに。
悪かったね。まあ、これを組み立て直すって大仕事が残ってるけど。
それが終わったら出発できそう？
そうだね。長居するとまずそうなのはよくわかったし。
Can you now?
そう、よかった。
She didn't seem to care that much. Guess there's no chance with her, huh?
もう何時間も缶を詰めっぱなしでしょ？大丈夫？疲れてない？
昼食休憩の機会が誰かさんに奪われたこともあってね。
代わりにクラッカーをあげたじゃないですか。
Like that was enough to say the guy in his mid-20s.
まあ、僕は大丈夫。もう一頑張りする。君ももう行っていいよ。大体の人とは顔合わせしたような気がするし。
多分あと2人会ってない人がいるかな。
Really? Well, there was no real need to, right?
もうちょっといるよ。どうせ暇だから帰ってきたわけだし、することもないし。
52人の男友達と遊ぶ選択肢はなかったの？
前言撤回。暇したいから帰ってきたの。町暮らしは面倒も多くて、52人からメール攻めとかさ。
そっか。
ごめん、52人は。
No way!
なんでそんな嘘を？
春明さんに対する牽制？
Why would she pull? Why would she pull a tactic like that only to reveal her hand?
ねえ、彼女に振られたって本当？
Yes. And now she asked me that.
本当だって。
そっか。
Well, after that relentless assault, it wouldn't be fair unless I played my own card.
なんならこれ乗って。
え、これって2人乗りなんだ。
Isn't technically every bike a two-seater?
もちろん。一応タンデム用のヘルメットも吊るしてきてるし、まだ乾いてないけど、僕はこのままここを出ていくから、その便でちえみちゃんも外に出るのが都合良ければってことになるけど、ついでにロングツーリングしてみる？時間さえあればどこへだって行くよ。
Flexible, open to fine-tuning, wild and charming. This was a good date invitation if I said so myself.
いいね、素敵。都合問題ないよ。
But
じゃあ荷物持ってくるね。
everything is a two-seater if you try hard enough. It just might not be legal. Jimmy smiled and turned around to head to her place. She then looked back at me and...
急いだ方がいいよ。ちえみさんの気が変わらないうちに。
はいはい、もちろん。
Well, that made me motivated. This was one tiring trip, but at least I met someone good along the way. I just forget everything I didn't want to remember while on the road with her. I could only hope that Clever Girl and I would eventually grow closer. With that ulterior motive in mind, I resumed rebuilding the bike. I need someone to step this guy, I swear to God. After several failed attempts, I was finally making some good progress putting the bike back together. Afternoon had passed and it was almost evening. At the rate I was going, I'd definitely be working while it was dark. Would that even be possible? It might be way past midnight by the time I was done. Jimmy might dump me for that? Man, life sure was hard. The house I'd walked in was now totally empty. There was no one around me. All I could hear was the wind, the frogs, and the tools in my hands. It was desolate to say the least. I suddenly felt really weak. It made me keenly aware of being in a place I didn't belong and that I was preparing to escape. It was an oppressive atmosphere, like the bars of a cage were slowly swinging shut. What's this, Haruaki? Think you're gonna get attacked or something? Yes. I tried to laugh it off, but it didn't work. As I became more conscious of my surroundings, I began to hear things I hadn't noticed before. I heard a voice. Someone was singing. It was an inarticulate little girl's voice. I stopped my work. Before I knew it, I'd put my tools down and gone looking for the source. Was I that starved for human presence? Or did the malaise make me feel like I was in danger? But what now? I walked down the hill to where the song came from. Passing the tall grass, I arrived. Oh God. It was a strange sight. The field was covered in tall grass. There were countless rocks peeking out of it. Unlike the boulders all over Yasumisu, these were only up to my waist. They looked like gravestones. The field extended into the dusky western sky before ending at a cliff. This was the lowest spot in Yasumisu, the border to Sadanaga. There was a large pine right at the edge. What are you saying? The evening sun, the stones, and the pine shadow gave the field a strange aura. A little girl was running through it. Her steps were awkward. At this moment, the space was alien. I felt like I was looking at the the Chiriko painting. The place felt like it didn't belong in this world. Suddenly, I came to understand that this place was special. It was a sacred, mythical ground where no outsiders were welcome. The girl fell. I run to with no hesitation. The little girl. Excuse me? What was the... What was it with that text? Help up! Half-crying little girl in muddy clothes. New grays on... What? Why is the text like that? Console little girl. Push away. Run. Someone. Appear. Girl. Saw once. Me. Huh? Girl. Weave. Incomparable phrase. Hide behind. Little girl. Fear not the... What? Huh? Girl. Hug. Little girl. Warn. Me? Me, girl, behind. Me, girl, behind. Missed. Me, girl, behind. Missed. Me. Turn around. Run. Where? In a daze I came back to the plaza. Suddenly Chiyomi shook me, bringing me back to my senses. That's what I'd like to know.
ごめん。すぐ作業に戻るから。
何言ってるの？もうダメ、間に合わない。春秋さんも隠れて。
What? I couldn't understand what she was getting at.
何やってんだ、チエミ。とっとと部屋に戻れ。
Huh?
でも春秋さんが。
ほっとけ、そんなよそ者。俺はおやっさんと他の連中んち回るから絶対戻れよ、チエミ。
Someone's gonna die. I couldn't understand. What were these two doing? What scared them so much? It didn't take long for me to find out. I looked down the hill. From Sadanaga, beyond the field I'd just been in, came a rising haze. It was so dense you could easily call it mist. It moved strange. Sorry, 1 second. It moved strangely like a living creature as it flowed into the plaza. Jimmy pulled me by the hand.
何がなんだか頭が
Finally, something's happening.
今は我慢して。どこか鍵のかかるところに一人で入るの。
Okay.
死んじゃう。
Why can I not just hide at your place?
どういうことなの？
お願い、春秋さん。今だけは言うことを聞いて。
Okay. Albeit hesitantly, I did as she said. We ran up the hill and crossed the rice field path until we made it to a simple outhouse.
ここならなんとか。
本当、何事なんだ？確かにすごい霧だけど、そんな慌てることじゃ。
いい、春秋さん。詳しく説明してる時間はない。
Okay.
だから、お願いだから、今から言うことを絶対に守って。
うん。
今から一晩、ここに入って、鍵をかけて、絶対に物音一つ立てないで。
Okay. My mind was pretty clear by this point, so much so that I began to wonder why it was clouded until now. Probably because you managed to leave the mist for a second, but it's coming back to get you now. Because of that, I could easily understand exactly what Shimi just said, despite how weird it was. I could also see she was really desperate. Oh, wow. Well, I mean, that's a lot of unlocks we would need for the other choice, so yeah, we're going to hide in the outhouse. God damn.
またとんでもない指示が来たもんだ。
春秋さん。
言っとくけど、相当な無茶ぶりだからね。ノルマクリアの暁には相当な見返りと説明を要求するから。
Just fucking do it, my guy.
うん、いいよ。全部話す。
ん？
だから、今晩を生き延びて。
Same to you. The words a teary smile, none of it looked fake.
じゃあね。君も急ぐんでしょ？
Why can't we hide in the same place?
うん。それじゃ。
何？
明日言うから。
One of us is not going to survive the night. Leaving me one hell of a homework assignment, she and me ran off. The place was covered in the mist by now. I could see it rising to take over the fields too. Anyway, a promise was a promise. I'm going to break that promise though. Maybe. 10 minutes later, I began to wonder what I was doing. Was I really supposed to spend the night here? This outhouse wasn't like a prefab you find in construction sites. It was just a shack built by hand. It merely happened to have a toilet unit installed. It was Japanese style, so I couldn't even sit down. All I could do was stand. Another problem, it was the type of toilet that periodically had to be pumped empty, so the smell was really bad. Oh man, yeah, that's not nice. Sure, there was a cover on the toilet unit, but without any kind of air freshener anywhere, the smell of ammonia could only do so much. The only good thing about being here was that if I had to go to the toilet, well, mission complete. But what of it? Again, was I really supposed to spend the night here? The question quickly made me realize how stupid this was, and I began making assumptions to make this easier for myself. Was I being pranked? Or was everyone here just crazy? Hell, the mist had already filled the surroundings, and there was no way that this shabby outhouse protected me from it. The air here already felt misty and damp. The temperature here was low, so I could still bear it somewhat, but staying here all night would make me all wet. Again, I wasn't safe from the mist here. That considered, I'd probably be better off sleeping in the grass outside than staying here. The reasonable part of my mind urged me to stop playing along with these hicks. However...
今から一晩、ここに入って、 鍵をかけて絶対に物音一つ立てないで。
She clearly said that for a reason.
いいよ、全部話す。だから、
And she promised
今晩を
to tell you everything should you
生き延びて。
survive. My sense of duty made it hard for me to break the promise I'd made to her. Actually, that wasn't quite true. I was more intrigued by the prospect of learning more about this place. Anyway, I took the time to compile what I found out today. This was the Yasumizu settlement, a special part of Fujiyoshi. It was situated right next to the Saranaga Rapids. The people living here were... Chiemi Serizawa, Yasunaga Oribe, his family Kaori Oribe and Yoshitsugu Oribe. Chikamochi Kamoshita, Haru Makishima, her granddad Kanzo Makishima, Tai Yamawaki, Takumi Muro, Kiyonosuke Nosato. Seemed like he was from Kami Fujiyoshi, the place on the other side of the mountain, but for some reason he lived here now. And finally, the old man who cried wolf, who apparently doesn't get a real name. Those were the 11 people I'd met, and Shimi said I had 2 more left. That could only mean that the 2 I'd met by the pine were the ones. It fucks me up that it's just pine and not pine tree. A little girl. She was probably the child that strayed into Saranaga yesterday morning. And then there was the fantastical looking white-haired woman clad in strange clothing. She was probably the one I'd seen in the morning. The fact I'd seen her twice made it likely that she was indeed real, but with how mysterious this place was, I couldn't rule out the possibility that she was an illusion. According to Chiemi, the little girl was being looked after someone in the village, so I could only assume that the white-haired woman was the one. If I counted the little girl, it would mean that Yasumizu had 13 inhabitants. Then there were the 2 journalists, Hisako Mamiya and Yudai Hashimoto. Add me to that and you had a total of 3 outsiders, but I put that aside for now. Anyway, time for an assessment. Oh. Yesterday morning, a little girl strayed into Saranaga. To make it worse, no one, not even herself, knew anything about her. She instantly got branded as an ill omen. The next day, Chiemi, who was in Saranaga for some reason, found me there. They recognized me as a proper lost person, but since I came through Saranaga, I was also branded as an ill omen. Which is valid, I think. From what Kiyonosuke Nosatoshi said, it was safe to assume that it had used to be customary to throw people like us into Saranaga. And then there was the mist. The girl said something mysterious. Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. I could only assume it was related to the same superstitions. After all, the mist came from Saranaga itself. It and the river seemed to be central to the local customs and ideas. With that in mind, how was it dangerous? What was going to happen now? Yomibito as in people from Yomi, the ancient Japanese land of the dead. Dead people came back to Saranaga and they were corrupted. Well, that gave room for some wild ideas. Was there some sort of pathogen in Saranaga that rose up with the mists? That reminds me of a completely different series. He's an ill omen wherever he goes though, honestly. Did it turn people into zombies? Was I about to be a part of Japanese Resident Evil? Wait, that was already Japanese. Yeah? Yeah, you're about to be part of Japanese Resident Evil. What if you had a 10% chance to be infected by the mist, but a 100% chance to be infected by another person? That explains why everyone had to isolate themselves like this. If I became a zombie, I probably wouldn't have the mind to unlock the door. Oh my god, wait, I don't have a paper. Do I have a pen here anyway? I do have a pen. 1 second. I need to remember that. That's legitimately funny. So basically, by locking myself in here, I was quarantining myself. I hadn't put all that much thought into that, but it seemed like a good story. Sure, stuff like the boulders and the wolves didn't fit anywhere into my idea, but it was still interesting. Then again, I knew this was Hicksville and all, but what a superstition that science could explain so easily really survived the modern world. Yes. It seems so weird. Thank you for the hydrate time. And the posture check. Don't make a sound. To be frank, the reason why I spent so much time on these delusions was because I was scared of things I didn't know or understand. In the past, people used to attribute stuff like natural phenomena and diseases to gods, devils, yokai, and then do nothing but fear them. They were scared of these manifestations of monsters and whatnot, but on the other hand, it was better than not seeing or not knowing what they really were. The fact that you could die to things you couldn't see or understand made life really unreasonable and unfair. That was why it was very logical to give things names and mental images in order to recognize and memorize them. My fear of things I didn't know was the same, except I wasn't satisfied with just labels or hypotheses. I needed to reach the truth. That aside, what I was feeling right now wasn't a fear of the unknown. It was a realistic, practical fear of something that could endanger my life. Also, the more time you spend in your own head without making sound, the more, like, the faster time will go by, and it's going to be the next morning and you'll have survived, maybe. That meant that outside lurked something dangerous that could hear sounds. Perhaps it was the so-called dead that rose up from the river. Maybe. Or maybe, assuming I was right with my Sadanaga sickness theory, it was people who came out and beat the shit out of all the diseased who didn't follow the rules. The wolf was coming. Maybe the wolf was a title given to the killer. Suddenly I heard a scream in the distance. Wowzers! That was louder than I expected it. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. We don't even get. Ooh, it's time for death. It's death time. Go out and take a look. Screeches like a dinosaur. Wow. That was some timing. Right as I was about to form a new hypothesis, the proof connecting it all suddenly came to me, and it was right outside. It had gotten really dark. There were no lights anywhere. The darkness was fear. Unperceived, unknown, dangerous, scary. Leaving this place was dangerous, scary, 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 scary. Scary things were scary no matter how much logic you applied. But I couldn't discard my desire to get to know the fear and conquer it. I opened the door and stopped in place. Night wasn't absolute darkness, no matter how dark or cloudy it was. The sky always gave some bit of light to us. However, I came to understand that it could be hard to see even if there was light. Everything I saw was covered by a dense mist. Combined with the pale moonlight, it made the area seem milky. It made it hard to get around. Regardless, I couldn't ignore the scream. There was something beyond this veil. I kept moving forward. Unless my ears were deceiving me, the scream belonged to a woman and had come from the right. I couldn't let myself think that. Or rather, I didn't want to think that. The unknown was scary. Personally, I'd found that principle made my life really easy. I had more than enough fear from those which were directly threatening my life. I really didn't want to have the fear of losing someone as well. Change your line of thought, Haruaki. Solving the mystery might save someone. 2 birds with 1 stone. I began walking faster. Another scream. It was close. I realized I had to find a way to protect myself. I was unarmed, so I looked around for anything I could use as a weapon. I felt around to see if there were any branches or anything. Sadly, all I felt was grass. I went deep and searched the ground itself. Soon I felt something hard. It was a rock. A moment of digging later, I took it in hand. It was a bit smaller than my hand. I almost teared up at how useless it seemed, but it was better than nothing. I looked at the base of my feet and saw the grassy ground. I could easily move forward if I first checked the ground using my feet. And since I might have been close to the danger, I had to focus on what was ahead too. Only thing that could drown out Alice Hall sneezing. Excuse me. Why would you say that? That's a thank you. I recognized the danger and, if possible, get rid of it. I concentrated entirely on that and stepped forward. I couldn't hear the screams anymore, but I could hear other things. A wet sound, and the sound of something cracking. It filled my mind with countless things I didn't want to imagine. Even so, I kept walking forward, until I saw it. Oh. My hypotheses were nothing but illusions. The truth was truly something you had to see yourself. But why? Why was this so scary in spite of being true? It wasn't supposed to exist. It couldn't exist. After all, it was a wolf with a humanoid body. And there's no such thing as werewolves. The next morning, in a paddy field in Fujiyoshi, Yasumizu 3rd block, someone discovered a thoroughly mangled corpse. The clothes nearby led the discoverers to conclude that it was a traveler, Haruaki Fusaishi. Strangely enough, I could perceive this particular moment. And so I was finished off by the girl. The last thing I heard was that. Raising loop. Unveiled arrival. Obtained key 2, Werewolf and Resurrection. You can view it in a keys list. The route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number on the scenario chart. Game over! Bad ending number 2. Watch hint corner. I mean, they kind of force you into this one. Like, you couldn't choose anything else, but sure, take me to the hint corner.
Yo,
excuse me.
俺のことはまあ気にすんな。取るに足らねえインターフェース的なキャラクターさ。羊。
You knew he was gonna be eaten.
ここは夢と夢の狭間。臭いし春秋とかいう野郎には見えねえから、まあ安心してくつろぎな。つってもあんま長っちりはできねえかな。ヒントコーナーにふさわしく。大将が困らねえようにありがてえ助言をいくつかくれてやるぜ。
Okay.
まず。
Yeah, hold on. If you don't know, could get a on the start, you only have one choice. Yep.
だからってチュートリアルでも一応解説したが。
Ah, yeah, I know.
大将がさなぜか。
You need keys, the keys are spread through the story.
どうやら臭いし春秋つうわけで。
She gets stuck, try dying. Okay, no, we'll get all of them. Yep, you can check it, okay?
Okay. 大将が例えば今この瞬間でもシナリオチャートからちなみにここまでで今回解放された選択肢を選べばいよいよ次にロックされた選択肢が出てきたら番号はシナリオチャートにちなみに1が手に入るのは
He won't be getting key 01 for a long time.
取りこぼしとかじゃねえから安心してかーつうわけで今回はここまで
When did we need that one? Oh no! I skipped the credit song. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Where? Oh, god damn it. Alright, yeah, hold on. Let me see this. No, that's just a tutorial. Okay. Next. Starting point, recall. Ah, no, we need number 4 here. Okay, we don't have number 4 yet. Yeah, let's try this. Also, where is... I know there's a skip button, but I can't fucking see it, like, with my own cursor. Meow. Oh. Oh, no. Okay, I did that wrong. How do I get to the part where I choose a different thing? Do I go here? Nope. How do I? How do I choose something else then, game? Oh, here. Ha. I see. Now we're gonna keep still. You have to click on the right thing and then it actually works. Good to know. That makes sense. Alright. What was that? It sounded like someone's life was in danger. It meant something dangerous was nearby. Wait, I couldn't be rash. The world didn't have many things that logic couldn't explain, like the existence of murderers, but until I saw the source of the scream myself, it was nothing but a source of fear.
今から一晩ここに入って鍵をかけて絶対に物音一つ立てないで。
I reached to open the door, but something stayed my hand. It was my promise to cheer me, but the scream just now was very real. It wasn't normal. I had to assume the situation was dangerous, and maybe I could help if I went out, but that meant endangering myself. I was not sane, and I had no plans to rectify that. If there was something that could get me to walk out, it would be curiosity. My curiosity had won over many dangers thus far. Right now it was weaker than my fear and risk of death. Why? Because I already knew. Shit, what the hell were those memories? It wasn't a premonition, a dream, or anything else that vague. My brain recognized it as something I'd experienced. And how? After all, I was still alive, and the time from those memories had yet to come. Was there a precog or something? By God, I swore I'd never experienced anything like this before coming here. And why did the memory come back to me at this particular moment? Regardless, that overwhelming fear, and the pain and death that followed, were exactly what waited for me if I opened the door. I couldn't feel more certain of that. The thoughts ran at me, unable to move. Immobile, I stood still, completely certain that I'd lost my chance to leave. I wasn't childish enough to sneer at selfish decisions, but they still didn't feel good. Not to mention I was upset at myself for not being able to act like me and just run out simply because I was curious. I didn't even feel safe. Until that moment, safe. Suddenly the door began to shake. Uh-oh. Oh no, we don't like that! We don't like that! I saw a handle on the outside and someone was pulling on it hard. It was a lock, sure, but there was only so much it could take before it broke. I prepared to pull on it from the inside, but... We like that, he's gonna die. No, he just died. He can't die with this choice. What would happen if I did? Whatever was outside would instantly know I was here. Even if I protected the door, the thing had lots of other ways of hurting me. Or what if I didn't know? What if it didn't know about me and was just weirded out by this randomly locked toilet? What if I didn't show a hint of fear to what I was doing? Would it just leave? I chose to just wait and see. Once again, someone pulled the door, shaking the structure as a whole. I gulped on a scream and focused on a lock. If it broke, it'd be over for me. Over, as in I'd be dead. That was what that memory told me. I was powerless back then and even more so now. Assuming I tried to fight back, what would work? I'd heard that teeth were the hardest part of the human body, so maybe I could bite? Yeah, I'd tear whatever it was apart with my teeth. I bite it to death. I gathered my wits in killing intent. Grinding my teeth, I glared at the door. How long had it been? The sound suddenly stopped. For all I knew, it might have been a ploy to make me drop my guard. I'd slowly count to 500. If nothing happened in that time, I assumed it went away. There were no screams or attacks after that, but the silence around me improved my perception, and I heard strange noises every now and then. Breathing, growling, claws on the ground. Basically, I felt a beastly presence. So that thing actually existed here. Was it what the mists brought here from Saranaga? The wolf is coming. Did they all know about this? Shit, I couldn't learn anything in a place like this, and not knowing things scared me. Trusting my... whatever, or déjà vu, whatever it was, I chose to just stay quiet and wait. I'd find out everything tomorrow. I just had to make it through the night and then talk to Chiemi. And if it was something I couldn't solve, I'd just run away. Thankfully, my bag repairs were going well, but I'd be leaving even if it didn't work. I'd walk to Kamifujiyoshi if I had to, and like Yasumisu, they might have had reliable means of transport. For now, I just had to stay awake and make it through the night. Would you look at that? You managed to survive. For now. I never liked seeing night gradually turn bright as the morning arrives. It always made me feel like shit, like I'd just done something harmful both for my body and as a human being in general. I found it natural to spend the night asleep and welcome the morning well rested and with a smile. I never expected to feel so much gratitude for the morning light leaking through the door of an outhouse. It felt like the beast had been out and about the whole night. Naturally, the high humidity here had made my clothes all wet and sticky. It was unpleasant, but even trying to move them and make it more comfortable for myself felt like a matter of life and death. Oh! Whoopsie. There goes that. Maybe it was a good thing I could relax, but hell, it was exhausting in more ways than one. I'm sorry. When I heard Chiemi shout Haruaki-san in the distance, I was so overcome with relief I almost fell to my knees. It just turned out to be a trick, and I opened the door to see some wolf with a chewed collar in its mouth lunging for my throat. I just gave up and let it have me at this point. With that in mind, I opened the door. I expected to see the same picturesque village I'd seen yesterday, so what I actually saw shocked me pretty hard. What the hell was up with this thick mist? I couldn't see shit. It was like the entire area was consumed by it. Someone lined every inch of this place with dry ice or something. I could hear Chiemi but not see her.
Chiemi-chan, こっちだ!
Haruaki-san! よかった!
I heard a wet sound and finally saw a silhouette within the mist.
田にはまった!
I walked up and saw exactly what I expected. A girl struggling to free one of her legs stuck deep in the paddy field.
そうか、頑張れ。
助けてって!
抜けないのね。じゃあ手を。よっと。
I took her hand and braced my legs. That was enough to help her, but she lost her balance and...
セーフ。
ヘッドロック! これ技! 決まってる!
Despite how close we were now, this wasn't the least bit romantic.
とにかくよかった。無事だったんだ。
I definitely remember the time where I was far from alright though.
ああ、なんとかね。
I had no idea what that was about, so I didn't see any reason to mention it.
ただ、夜中獣みたいな気配がした。
Nah. Chiemi's expression immediately darkened. She clearly knew what I was referring to.
聞きたいことはたくさんあるけど、まず昨晩聞いた悲鳴のことが気になる。
それは。
え、知ってるの？
She felt silent, clearly uncomfortable. It was pretty ominous.
どうせ。
I mean, she did promise to tell us. Chiemi gave me her hand. I took it, but I didn't feel the least bit excited about this. She led me down the path to the school dorm.
あ、夫妻さん、無事だったんですね。
生還おめでとう、ベンジョマン。
Thank you.
ありがとう、温かい布団マン。君たちも無事。いや、はるちゃんは？
Is she?
いえ、大丈夫です。まだ部屋なんですが、ちょっとショックが強かったみたいで。
Okay, so at least it wasn't her.
そうか。皆さん、僕より先に動いてたみたいだな。
逆によく耐えれたな。寝てたの？
No.
寝られるか。いつ出ていいかわからないから、ずっと起きて待ってたよ。
え？起きてたんですか？
Isunagakun made it sound like that was weird.
いや、あのトイレで寝てごらん。横になるどころか、座れもしないぜ。
Oh, it's... You can sleep while you're standing. It's not that hard.
いや、そうじゃなく、そうか。
I really hate it when people just trail off like that. It makes me way too curious.
ちなみに君たちはなぜここに？
はるちゃん待ちと見張りだよ。
And look out.
状況がはっきりするまで現場に誰も近づかないようにね。
Scene. So someone actually...
見る？ベンジョマンの胃袋の強度試し。
もち、あんまふざけるなよ。
ああ、見るよ。
The invisible and unknown were way scarier than anything else. Not to mention I could already smell something foul. I lightly moved them aside and walked up to the so-called scene. There was a corpse. It was in such a horrible state it was hard to recognize it as human. I imagined this was what you would have gotten if you overturned a butcher's cart. That was how thoroughly the victim was disassembled. Also, the butcher would have had to deal in entrails. Enough of that comparison. Shutting my eyes to look through the thick mist, I could actually make out some human parts within a vast sea of blood or mountain of death. Hands, torn clothing, hair, and a shoulder bag. A professional! She kept hold of her interviewing tools even while running for her life. Didn't do her odds of survival any favors though. Oh! Despite the body stays, it wasn't hard to tell that the victim was Hisako Mamiya, the small-time food journalist. That thing, did it come to me once I was done murdering her?
これは。
大丈夫？吐き気とか。
Chiemi was standing a short distance away looking at nothing in particular.
吐くものもないし。まあ、慣れてるんで。
Huh?
春明さん、そっち系の学部だっけ？
まあ一応
What do you mean you're used
医
to
学
this?
系
すごい。検視とかできる？
医学系ってのは医学部以外の類似学部生が見え張って使う表現さ。まあ病理解剖なら何度か見たけど。
I crouched down and put my hands together. Then, grimacing at the hurrying reek of blood, innards, and especially digested food, I brought my face closer. Perhaps I could learn something from this. I could, even if it wasn't much. This corpse wasn't split into pieces. The limbs were still connected, but they were folded in an unnatural way and looked really flattened. They were either crushed or bent with no regard to bones or muscle position. Then her whole body had been torn apart. The innards were particularly badly damaged. The words wolf down felt like the best way to put it. Ew. Ew. Hi, TK! I found it hard to describe. This wasn't my job, so there wasn't much I could tell about it without touching it.
何がどうなってるのかわからない程度には常軌を逸した傷だよね。
I had an urge to add that this seemed inhuman, but I kept myself from saying that.
とにかくとっとと警察を呼んでプロに任せよう。
We're not gonna call the police on this funky little sleepy town. Yeah. I said something any good citizen would, but for some reason it didn't seem to agree.
春明さん、警察は来ないんだ。
Why not?
そんなことはないでしょ。人が死んでるんだし。
来ないんだ。
じゃあ避難しよ
う。それも無理なんだ。
どうして？バイクもあるし、この人たちが乗ってきた車だって。
とにかく不採取さんで生存者は全員見つかったはずだから、一度食堂に移動しましょう。
春ちゃんは僕らが連れてくぞ。
そっちはお願い。春明さん、行こう。
Okay, but they said, hold on. I haven't actually played Werewolf or Mafia that much, so I don't really know. But the basic principle there is that someone gets chosen as a werewolf. And like it's like sitting in a circle, everyone closes their eyes, but one person is the werewolf and they get to kill someone, right? And then after they kill, they go back to the circle, everyone gets to open their eyes, they find one person dead, and now everyone has to find out who the werewolf is, right? And they have to vote them out. If they're right, okay, nice, they win. Werewolf is voted out. If they're wrong, the werewolf just gets to continue doing this next round, next night. Is that how it works?
なあ、ちゃんと説明してくれないか？
悪いけど精神的に無理。
You promised you would explain! Fuck you! It was the first time Jamie had acted so harsh with me. I was pretty irritated myself, but it must have been worse for them. They actually had info on what was happening here.
無神経だったよ。
Jamie said nothing more and just silently walked off. I followed after her. When we reached the plaza, I instantly understood what she said about evacuating. The bike and the van were both completely destroyed. The latter was in a particularly bad state. The front window was broken, all four tires were flat, etc. My back was on its side, its front fork was broken. Well, it was basically scrap metal now. Fuck. There was a rock right next to it. Guess we had our weapon. And there were more remains inside the van. It looked like an enormous mountain of flesh and bone. Oh, both of them! If I didn't know about Yudai Hashimoto's, I'd have assumed there were 2 or 3 corpses here.
Hashimoto-san?
Jamie slowly nodded. I now knew we'd lost not only 2 lives, but any means of transportation as well.
あれ見て。
She pointed at a wooden electrical pole. The line was dangling, torn apart with no hope of
よそ
repair.
の電線は生きてるけど、食堂のは電話線ごとやられた。
Clearly we have no hope of actually reaching the outside. I see how it is. I took out my own phone. It worked, but the battery was almost dead, and like before, it was out of range. The situation had become even harsher than before.
これも見て。
Jamie walked a few steps away. I followed after. There was a large boulder. It was tall enough to reach an average roof, and there were drawings on it. Ooh, a crimson symbol of some sort. What did it represent? At first it looked like an incoherent mess of lines. However, I soon realized there was a pattern. It felt like the calling card of some street gang. From what I could tell, the basis was a warped diamond shape with a spiral inside. There were 2 of them. They seemed to be drawn in blood, but that wasn't nearly as disturbing as the bizarre shape.
狼が2匹村に紛れ込んだ。
Two!
戦わなきゃいけない。
Chiemi made a quiet declaration. Apparently, the settlement had been invaded by something malicious, and it was intelligent enough to rid it of all means of escape or contacting help. I could understand that much, but it didn't make sense to me. This wasn't some isolated island. There was the cliff, sure, but you could still go down to Saranaga or go to Kamifujiyoshi. I'd asked about that the next time I had a chance.
ごめん。
ん？
気が立っちゃってごめん。春明さんだってきついでしょうに。
まあ気にしないでいいよ。所詮僕はよそ者だ。
そんなの言わないで。
ああ、言い方が悪かった。よそ者ゆえにルールがまだわからないから疲れちゃいるけど、多分普通の人よりは動揺はしてないと思うから、おとなしくしとこうってね。きっと他のご年配方はもっと先だ
But
ってるだろ
clearly
うし。
he's a little special if he actually is awake during the night, because the others apparently were not awake.
春明さん、本当にただの大学院生？
そうでなきゃなんだと？
なんか異様に落ち着いてない？まるでこういう質に慣れてるみたい。
Well, technically he died last night.
多分大事な神経が何本か切れてる
He's
のさ。
running on the adrenaline of having no sleep. The small dining hall was jam-packed with people.
生きてやがった。
おはようございます。大変なことになったみたいですね。
ごめんなさいね。ちょっと湯飲みが足りなくて。
いえ、お構いなく。
てめえがやったのかよ。あ？
The younger Uriba boy menaced me.
いや、やってないよ。どうしてそうなるの？
うるせえ。入ってくるんじゃね
え。よしぼうやめろ。うるせえのはお前だ。
Ooh.
ああ？匠にだって言ってただろ。こいつが怪しいって。
Man, I hadn't expected to be treated this badly.
ガキが出る幕じゃねえっつってんだ。それにここじゃ迷惑だ。なあ、香織さん。
ね、匠さん。とにかく落ち着いて。
大丈夫だ。ちゃんと話は聞く。
Okay, whoever you're praying to is probably not listening.
やめえたえば、演技でもね。それより、集会堂の鍵はどこだ？
植松様に預けたわよ。2、3日前、お団を直すんじゃって。
姉ちゃん、いいか？
取って。
Oh!
参ります。
That was the woman. So she wasn't just an illusion. Uematsu-sama was her name, huh? I thought our eyes met for a second, but she just walked by me.
メイコちゃん、ちょっと待っててね。
That girl was here too. Deeper in there was Kyunosuke no Satoshi, clearly irritated by something. And not too far away there was the old man who cried wolf. Just like yesterday, it was hard to tell what he was looking at, let alone thinking. They were the only ones sitting, by the way. The others were all just idly standing around.
母さん、皆さん、戻りました。
はるちゃん、こっち。
The 3 students were here. With them, the settlement's entire population had gathered. As for the outsiders, the journalists were dead, while I and the mysterious girl had survived. I didn't know the circumstances, but they probably had their reasons to be suspicious of me. Suddenly, Chiemi did something unexpected.
リカ子さん、ちょっと待ってもらえる？
She stopped the girl who was about to go out to get some key. Each villager seemed to call her differently, so I didn't know what to call her myself.
この人、久石春明さん。サラナガでバイク事故に遭った人。
I guess her red eyes are not the most weird then.
どうも。
An introduction. Now, why?
こちら、植松リカ子さん。回るに末で植松。珍しいでしょ？上藤吉の長者、植松家の現当主様。
Congratulations.
植松リカ子と申します。お見知りおきください。
So she was like a local celebrity, huh? Like Kyunosuke, she's Nosato family.
あと、そっちのがメイコちゃん。名前がわかんない。
Meiko for lost child, huh? Why do you keep saying that?
こんにちは。よろしくね。
The girl they called Meiko trembled a bit and sprinted through the crowd to hide behind Dikaku Uematsu.
なんだっつうんだ、ちえみ。
私は久石春明さんを宴に呼ばないことを提案します。
Huh? I felt a wave of perplexion go through the room.
勝手言ってんじゃねえ。
そいつが怪しいか怪しくねえかを宴で決めるんだろ。
The expressions were stern and their words harsh.
違います。私は彼がそもそも宴に参加する資格がないと言ってるの、匠兄ちゃん。
何言ってんだ知恵ね。そいつが一番怪しいっつうの。
よし君、宴の支度した？
はあ？したよ。
しなかった人いる？
How was I supposed to react? No one else was raising their hands, but I had no idea what they were talking about.
多分、はい。何のことかわからないんで。
宴の支度をしなかったからあの二人は汚れを受けた。でも春明さんは受けていない。私は狼様が彼を無視していると思って。
Girl, what are you saying? Okami-sama as in Wolf-sama? Why the reference? And what was she even talking about?
サラナガから来た人ではあるけど、彼は本当にただ通り過ぎただけ。いえ、むしろ宴に混ぜれば狼様の怒りを買って何が起きるかわからないとすら思う。
ばあちゃん、どう思う？
あんた、ほんまに支度をせんと無事だったんかね？
I mean, if you count dying in a separate timeline and for some reason remembering in this one as preparation?
ちなみに支度って？
みそぎ、物意味、夢枕。
体を清める。一つの建物に一人で閉じこもる。眠って
Oh no, I didn't sleep.
じゃあ守ってないですね。トイレに一人で入りましたけど、風呂も入らず一晩徹夜しましたから。
Place got all noisy. They probably didn't expect that answer.
わからんね。初めてよ。そんなことを聞いたのは。
Hassan sounded genuinely puzzled.
リカコさん、どう思われます？
I had no idea what kind of dynamics were at work here, but Shiemi asked for Rikaku Uematsu's opinion.
私も賛成です。神内明神が裁かれないのなら、この方は 山の掟の拉致外に。
Her words created even. Oh my god, how slow do you speak? Her words created even more commotion.
そういうことです。
ちえみ、分かってんのか？そいつを外すってことは。
うん。大切な宴一日分、無駄な人をくくらずに済むね。
おやっさん、どうするんだ？
Do we get a free pass? Does that mean we're never going to be the bad guy? It was roundabout, but in the end, once again, the one to make the final call was Kansamaki Shimashi.
こいつは宴から。
おやっさん。
じゃが。
Glaring directly at me, the old man walked through the gathering and approached me. Seeing him from up close, I realized just how big and burly he was. It was pretty typical of someone living in a place like this, but it felt out of place in someone his age. His expression displayed both an inner strength to match his physique and a profound rage.
山の掟が通じねえなら、わしらの取り決めに従ってもらう。さもなくば、わしがてめえを殺す。
Die. He spoke slowly yet decisively. Man, this was uncomfortable.
ちょっと待て。彼が外されるというのならば、私やリカコさんも外していただけんかね。
あ？なんでだよ。
我々は上藤吉の人間だぞ。サラナガの事情に付き
Yeah, I
合
don't
う
think
必要
that's
は
going
な
to
い。
fly.
野里様、そうはいきません。宴の日にいりゃ、野里も、上松も、身車も、樋口も。
おっちゃん、その理屈だったら僕もやっすんもサボってよくなる？
廃着されたものは話は別だろう。どうして今現在4家に属している者がこんなバカに付き合わなきゃならない？
I hope he dies next.
よ。
気安く呼ぶな、ムロ。行きましょう、リカコさん。こんなもの付き合う義理はない。
いいえ、野里様。藤吉に住む者ならば、義理が皆
Oh
等
my
しく
god, I'm sorry.
神内様の手のひらの上。それがこの安水というサラ
Girl, get a move on, please.
乗せられただけ。
しかし文句がありゃどこへでも行け。汚れで死ぬのが関の山よ。
Yunosuke eventually felt silent and Rikako left. Get the key, probably. Can she talk any slower? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. She returned in no time and everyone began leaving.
てめえは別のとこだ。
はい。どこに行けば？
匠、奥の檻。
Excuse me.
そりゃ使えるけど。あ、わかった。連れてっとく。
What cage?
あんた、こっちだ。
What? Everyone went to some hole near the village plaza while Takumi led me elsewhere. We made our way through the tall grass between the buildings. Where are we going? At the dead end next to the wild trees and a rocky cliff, there was a large cage. It even had a roof and would have passed for a hut with a bit of work.
生け捕りにした獅子を入れとくような檻だ。悪いが、ここに入っといてもらう。
拒否権はないってわけですか。
悪く思うな。みんなが宴をやってる間だけだ。そう長くはかからねえ。
I don't like that they call it whatever they're doing feast. Like, do they eat the remains of whoever got killed? Is that why they call it feast? Are we just having a fun little
あ、そうだな。
gathering of
cannibal 宴に出んですぐだけで、うんと思ってくれ。
How was I supposed to feel that way if I didn't even know what the feast was? I would bet money on them having to eat the remains or something. I'd have asked, but he looked pretty irritated, probably because he wanted to get it over with, so I kept my mouth shut. The floor of the cage was mostly gravel, with spaces of weed and other things littered about. There was a vague but very clear scent of beasts.
ここ、横になっていいでしょうか。眠れるときに寝といた方が良さそうだ。
ずいぶんずぶといな。
単に臆病なだけ。死にたくないだけですよ。
That was why I had abandoned those people. After Takumi-san locked me in and left, I laid down and closed my eyes. The ground was hard and it reeked pretty bad, but it was still an improvement over the outhouse. I should have taken the time to think about what the villagers had said about my strange memories and about how I could get the hell out of here. That was what I wanted to do, but I knew that I'd just be swept away by an unproductive spiral of regret if I went down that rabbit hole. I'd always been this admirable of a person. Another thing, for some reason I felt like I'd spent the entirety of this time just watching the battle, so I decided that I'd focus on resting in preparation for what was to come. What's about to come is me once again hitting all of us with the biggest fucking cliffhanger we could probably get hit with. Because I can. Because I can. And because it's already 11 fucking PM because I started later than I would usually. Huh. But yeah, that means we're now in chapter 3. Ah, okay. So next time we can find out why and what that means. Is there anything else? Can I go back to the title? I can, assuming I make it to... Oh my god. I can't... Listen, I can't actually see where my mouse is. There we go. Yes, return to title. Good! Well, that for sure is, a game. I gotta say, assuming that the rest of the game is going to be about what the feast is and what's going on, they're going to be how do I say this? Not as annoying to deal with? Because he won't have time. He probably won't have time to be such a weirdo as he was in the beginning when he was introduced. If he has to fear for his life. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. I'm hoping for him to be less of a whole guy, but we'll see about that. For now, though, that is for sure an interesting beginning to a game. Like, we've had many games that were like, what the fuck is happening? But this one takes the cake. For me personally, this one definitely takes the cake for now. Thank you for the nice stream. No, thank you for coming. Also, thank you for the pat. This is our new visual novel for now, so we're going to continue this one on Sunday. Very interesting is one word to describe it. Yeah, I like interesting because depending on how you say interesting, it can be a very positive thing or a very negative thing. But right now, I'm just confused. Mostly, I'm just confused. I say though, I think it's cannibalism we've got going here. I think that's what's happening, but we'll see about that. You know, we'll see. That is going to be it for tonight, though.
Thank you for coming. Let me give you the right message. Let's go say hello to Tip. Tip, who is playing Hi-Fi Rush, which is the new game that everyone's talking about. No idea what that one's about. I'll see y'all on Friday for more Atelier Shelly, which will hopefully work out. I mean, honestly, it's not that bad. Like, it's a little scuffier than usual, but it's not that bad. It's working out, right? We'll see what this game is going to be like. But now that's going to be it. Thank you so much for coming by tonight. Have a good night, everyone.
I actually pressed the correct button for once and OBS is not dying. New game that outdid the new Square Enix game somehow. I have no idea. No idea. I just suddenly saw everyone playing Hi-Fi Rush. I was like, oh, right, okay. New game. Woo!
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye.